And I must confess, I battled the elements myself today.
Thank you, Dave. I'm glad you made that sacrifice for
I did.
us.
I went to Tiger football practice.
Did you put on pads?
I lasted about...
Mouthpiece?
I'd say it lasted about an hour and 20 minutes. I was not there for the whole thing. Because I thought I was going to pass out. I mean, seriously. We are asking a lot of our athletes.
Be careful.
To practice in this. And, you know, the way Mike Norvell does it. No, they take water breaks, and they're
take your
very
helmet off
safe
anytime
about
you
it.
want.
So I'm not trying to say they're not. But Mike wants the pace of the practice to be like the game. I mean, you're supposed to emulate that all the time, so it's second nature to you. And can you imagine being, 300 pounds and you're never stopping moving and it's 110 degrees?
No, I can't. I can't imagine it being 180.
It's incredible, the condition and the discipline. And, when I was leaving, I was talking to my good friend Brett Norsworthy. And Brett Norsworthy said...
he's sitting right over here by you.
I like to go third person.
Okay, good. No problem, Bo Jackson.
Exactly. And you said, I think you nailed it when you said, you really got to want it if you're going to be
I added another word,
football
but
player.
FCC guidelines prevents you from saying that. You do. You have to want it. It is a warrior kinship mentality. At 3:30, we'll talk to one of those from that fraternity, Gabe Kuhn, when we talk Tigers, and he took us inside kind of the team rooms last week. We'll go more out on the practice field with him this week. It looks like after today that it will abate and it'll just be hot. It won't be brutal, but it just takes one day, and you sure don't want anybody, don't want anything tragic for sure. One Corey Stringer's enough, and we've had it too often. One's too often, but Dave, imagine in the 70s how wrong we had it when water was treated either as a reward or you being soft. At least now, hey, water.
You being soft.
Trainers,
can you believe that?
Trainers are over there on top. If you want to take your helmet off, I mean, Dave, you can remember the time when you didn't take your helmet off from when you left that locker room till you got back in it 2.5 hours later, and then you did it again that afternoon.
They're not taking their helmet off very much anymore still, but they are taking water breaks, and they're built in, and if you need water, you are allowed to go get water.
Sure.
And
in
this kind of heat, boy, you have to have it.
At a lot of practices, and it's fun to see this breakup, and this is the time for that is, toward the end of practice, somebody will show up with a snow cone truck or ice cream or cantaloupe and watermelon.
I would have stuck around longer if I knew Jerry's was coming.
Exactly. And, might be milkshake day at some places. And, you have to do things like that to keep it interesting. And they're just going once a day now, which I think's smart. I never saw the need for 2-a-days.
Well, they can't do 2-a-days now. And I'm with you. You because you can only really take in so much.
That's it.
Especially in this kind of heat, you're not going to have the focus that you need. I'm really interested in chatting with Gabe about the offensive line.
Me too.
That's where
it starts.
My biggest concern. I mentioned it yesterday, and then I started thinking about this. A guy that Gabe was right next to, Drew Kaiser. Do you know Drew Kaiser? I believe played all 4 years.
2 more than Gabe.
Do you know that of all the plays run, that every offensive play while he was on that team, he was in for 93% of every play. 93. He only missed 7% of the plays.
Cal Ripken football.
While he was on the team. He's not there. You know that
it's my reluctance to bathe in this undefeated momentum.
Trevion Tate is 2.5-year starter, all conference. So you're missing a guy who's on the field for 93% of your plays over the last 4 years, and you're talking about a guy who was all conference and was there for 2.5 years, and then you have Roger Joseph, who was there for a couple of years, but another guy who played pretty much every snap. Those guys are not there. You would expect that there would be, especially early in camp, a drop-off. Maybe Gabe will have really some insight of how Avina Eze, for one, will be able to fill the role.
O-line's everything to me.
It
Around
is.
the team. I think anybody right now around college football. I just said that the offensive line is what's my hesitation of bathing in undefeated. I think the Tigers are going to win the West in the AAC. So there's that. Three straight years of that. When we'll get to that, we will do complete AAC picks on Thursday, August 29th, East and West that day. Spoiler alert, I'm going to pick the Tigers in the West. But to go undefeated, and that's a tall order. It's a tall order to ask Clemson, hey, y'all go back out there and do it again this year. Well, it was hard enough last year. Alabama couldn't go undefeated last year.
Do you remember early in the year people were saying that Alabama's defense was the greatest in the history of the school?
I never bought it. I never bought it.
It was the best that Nick Saban ever had?
And I didn't think that was the best team he's had at Bama last year.
But there were plenty of people that did.
There were plenty of smarter than me people that said that. Yes,
of course,
plenty.
They only lost one.
They only lost once. Imagine that being your crusher, man. Lost one game last year. Darn. But
well, that's how crazy we are, right? Because now that season, which
well, and I say this lovingly, that's how crazy they are. They not bad year. They didn't think it was a bad year, but it was less than fulfilling to them because look at the very high bar that they've always really had, and they really have had under Coach Saban. I did say this about last year's Alabama team, and I'll say it again this year. That collection of wide receivers, and I went through it last week, Ruggs, Waddle, Smith, I'm leaving a couple out. I think it's the Jerry Jeudy. That's a big one. I think they are the fastest. I think it's the fastest Alabama team I've ever seen. And you take that receiving crew and you make it you only need four, the 4 by whatever relay team. I think you'd be in pretty good shape at a lot of track meets. I thought it was the fastest Alabama team I ever saw. But I did, even when it was rolling last year, I was resistant to it even being Coach Saban's best team and over some of Coach Barry Bryant's best teams, but really good. And for the Tigers on opening day, that's where any offensive line deficiencies will scream the loudest if you don't have injuries. And then the scheduling, really good job of scheduling, because the next week after Ole Miss for the Tigers were playing Southern University, I don't mean to disrespect anyone, but you can work out a lot of problems and correct a lot of things from week one against them instead of jumping right back into playing South Alabama. I like Southern University in week 2 of the scheduling. You can have.
I like it.
It's a live game, but Tigers win easily and work a lot of things out and play some people that day that you might be trying to hide in the red shirt rule. Well, let's see what they can do today.
The goal is always to improve in every game, but they say the biggest jump is week 1 to week 2.
Do you believe that?
I'm not sure.
I'm not either. I never have been.
You never bought that theory?
I don't unbuy it. I'm just very neutral.
Here's what I think you do.
I'm Scandinavian.
Here's what your advantage is on that, is that for the first time against live ammo, when it really counts, not a blue-gray game, not a scrimmage amongst yourself, not a self-scout.
I think the country should have been Switzerland, but you know what I meant.
This is where you're exposed. The other team exposed what you are weak in, and that's what you fix. So that's why it looks like it's the best jump, week 1 to week 2. And I like the fact that, if you do beat Ole Miss in game 1, you still work on things, and your guys play a bunch in week 2.
Well, that's even better.
It's
always better to fix stuff out of the W.
You get to play a bunch of other guys because now you're going to get to look at other folks.
Yeah, and the flip side of that is, Ole Miss week 2 really want to enjoy that because they host Arkansas, and Arkansas
in a critical game.
Critical game. Somebody goes to bed that night sitting atop the SEC West. Screenshot it. Somebody be in first place in the SEC West.
That was like the Baltimore Orioles earlier.
Boy, Dave.
Really, Dave? Didn't I tell you earlier you kind of would need me on your side? And I'm still I was on the fence when you walked in today, and
Is
now
that
you
right?
pushed me over.
No, that's it.
It's done.
That was a cheap shot.
That
was really a cheap
man,
shot.
that was
By the
rough.
way, who's the Yankee? I just saw this story.
Poor Drew.
Who's the Yankee, seriously, has hit 13 home runs this year?
Gleyber Torres. I mean, Drew, I mean,
13
just keep
home
digging.
runs against Oriole pitching. One team, the guy has 13 home runs.
You know,
I can walk out this room and you can come do all this. stuff if you-
No,
we love
if
you,
want
Drew.
to.
we love you.
Come on, Drew.
No,
We love you.
Don't dare leave because we don't know what any of. All those buttons really matter.
About 95% of them.
They do.
They have a reason.
Some of them can just be set on 6 o'clock and kind of let it go, though, can't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But good luck figuring out which ones.
You think I'm going to get him so mad he's going to walk out on us?
Dave, one of us might need to know. No, you know how the Yankees got Gleyber Torres, don't you?
From the Orioles?
From the Cubs.
Oh, I do know that, yeah.
You know who for who?
Yeah, that was for...
it was worth it, too.
It was worth it. It was for Chapman.
It was worth
Absolutely.
it. You got a World Series.
Series.
End 108 years of torment. I don't care if you give up modern day Ferguson, Jenkins, Ryan Sandberg, and Ernie Banks in the deal.
How many home runs has he got this year? He's got the majority of them come against the Orioles.
He and the Orioles, man, the ball just flies out of the ballpark, doesn't it? They cannot keep it. If it's in the air, it's gone.
No. The Orioles have their pitching staff. Not that I'm trying to pick on them, Drew. Their pitching staff has given up 240 home runs this year, if I remember this factoid correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the record for a season is 250?
I think it's
to
going to be
surrender
eclipsed.
250.
The ball's juiced. Come on. So it doesn't really matter.
Everything's juiced. The ball's juiced. Players are juiced. The ballparks are juiced. Everything's juiced.
But nobody else has hit 240 home runs already, or given up 240 home runs already.
But it is. Texture at 67129. First Bank text line says for high school sports, practice must cease and go inside when heat index is 104 or higher. Well, we blew through that at 11 o'clock this morning. The heat index right now, real feel, I would assume is that heat index?
Yes. Real feel is heat index.
114.
Yeah. Somebody said they skipped golf because it was 115 at the time they were going to play.
Too hot.
That's too hot.
Way too hot. Just be smart. Looks like one more day. And that'll be about it. And then we settle into 89 and 90, but
you don't
need to build a campfire.
The
for
other
that.
thing I recall, because the games began a week earlier last year than they are this year for high school.
Sure did.
And you not only can you not practice when the heat index is 104,
Can't play.
You can't play.
They'll
and
stop
I remember, well, they were backing games up. They're going to start at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
But by the way, they say about 5 o'clock today, there's going to be in some portions of our area. We don't give weather anymore because we can all see it on our phones. But in case you're driving, I'm going to let you know. They say some parts of the area are going to get some water, going to be some rain, some precipitation. And then when about 5 o'clock, so when we walk out of here at 6, the cold air, not cold air, but a cold
Cooler.
front
Should start winning.
is going to come in, and the humidity is what's going to drop.
And you start getting tonight and into most of the day tomorrow, we're going to have a northwest or north wind, and that's welcomed anytime.
There you go.
There's your weather update on the 9s. Traffic and weather on the 9s. Live, local, and late breaking on the 9s, right? This portion of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity Sales Event, no matter what the temperature will be today or tomorrow. Great offers on all 2019 models and always on special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look great ending your summer in a new Lexus from Lexus of Memphis. Lexus of Memphis, the highest standards in the industry. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. 362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
That would be the press conference, and we had a winner. Laird Veach won the press conference. He was terrific in his introduction. Two things struck me about Memphis's new AD, who, by the way, signed a 5-year deal. Two things that he said that I've always, one thing I've always felt, and he brought up, and that is a part of college athletics that I don't think gets truly appreciated enough is what a bonding thing it is for community. And he pointed out what a responsibility it is for him, because in his discussions, in his preparation for taking this job and for accepting this job, was the unique relationship that Memphis really has with this university and how it does bring people from Orange Mound to Germantown all together.
And even when they don't play, fans of other teams gravitate to it.
Yes. This university is a major part of the fabric of this city, of this community. It does bring all kinds of people together, and he understood that, and it is important to him. So that struck with me. The other was, and I think this was a good question to be asked because it's been said on this, or it has been stated on this station by the president of the university and by the new athletic director himself yesterday, which is, we want to take this thing to the next level. And so the president was asked, what does that mean? What is the next level? What is the vision? And Dr. Rudd, to his credit, I thought, said, well, this is the reason I hired him. I want Laird, please answer that question. And Laird, with a great deal of wisdom that won me over, said, I'm here to learn at first. I've been to a lot of different universities, and I have found that every university, whether it's Texas or Missouri or Kansas State or Florida, every one of those is unique and special in their own way and the way that they operate and the vision that they have. And so I don't yet quite have the vision. I understand how things work, but I got to figure out how it works here before I can really give you a finite vision. I thought it was brilliant, and I appreciated that. Those are the two things that struck me the most during this press conference.
I think in the infancy, in the embryonic stages of his tenure, a listening tour would be wise. Go to Highland 100, go to Rebounders, go to Tiger Lane, go to fan groups and listen. And he's coming in at a great time, as we discussed with him yesterday. My top story: Tigers in the Bahamas, Grizzlies schedule out. Tigers schedule should be out in the next week or so. I don't think they'd want to step on the Bahamas trip, even with a full release if they had it ready today. Probably next week or into the next week. It'll be out soon. And what an October to April at FedEx Forum we could be in store for. We know it will end in April on the last playing date for the Grizzlies. We know that's when it will end. But before that, it could be a lot of fun watching all the Tigers' young stars on their way to NCAA tournament success, and the Grizzlies' young stars coming together for the future, like Jaren Jackson, like Ja Morant, like many others. We got a good sports stretch coming up.
I think we got as terrific a sports stretch as we've had in a while. And the other part of it is I do think there will be patience. There will be some disgruntlement. There always is when teams lose.
Yeah, go undefeated or else.
And the Grizzlies are going to lose, that's for sure. Or, Memphis, the odds of Memphis football going 12-0 are that's tough. But I think if we look 5 years from now, these are going to be 5 really incredible years. When we look back in 2024 over what's just occurred, I agree with you there.
Top story of the day.
And for Laird Veach, we were talking about, well, the three of us were talking before we came on. He's really got smooth sailing for a while. A lot of the big stuff's been taken care of. Come in and get comfortable.
Football scheduling is, he's got to start from 5 years after.
Right. Can't get mad at him about it.
Yeah. No, he's come in at about as good a time as you could. But my not top story, this is going to be sound a little weird, so give me a minute here. Tiger Woods arrived at Medina today. Said it wasn't until this morning he decided he would play in the BMW Championship. However, He goes, I feel good. I feel a lot better than I felt last week. Felt good this morning, so I thought I'd give it a go. Okay, that right there, I'm giving it a go. Then he says he's receiving treatment, but wasn't going to hit balls or play a practice round at all today. Maybe he might work on a short game, which is a good idea. He does have a 7:50 a.m. Pro-Am time on Wednesday. Remember, didn't play in the Pro-Am in New York. So let's see.
He played 9 holes. He had to remove himself after 9.
Let's see how that goes tomorrow. He's not hitting balls again today. This, to me, is not a real ringing endorsement that I'm gung-ho and I'm going to make the top 30 so I can win $15 million by winning this week and next. Certainly you're not getting that in Medina.
No, it doesn't sound like it. My not top story of the day, and this is how not top it is, I think it was 5 or 6 days ago that they only won the bronze medal. But why at the Pan Am Games was the men's basketball team, basically an assemblage all-star team from the Big East, and only able to win the bronze. They lost by 39 to Argentina to put them into to be the bronze medal game. We haven't won a gold medal at the Pan Am Games since 1983.
You know why? Because the rest of the world is catching up, and if we play our amateurs, we're not going to win.
Let's send the best, though. We got better players than the Big East All-Star team.
I agree with that. I mean,
Let's send players like this. Here's the 1983 Pan Am roster. Michael Cage.
Okay.
Michael Jordan. That puts you way ahead.
Yeah, right there.
Jim Master. Chris Mullen. Sam Perkins. Ed Pinckney.
Yeah.
Mark Price. Fred Reynolds, UTEP. I got nothing.
No.
Charlie Sitton, Oregon State. Nothing.
I remember him.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Greg Stokes, Iowa.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Wayman Tisdale, Leon Wood. 5 of those players, Jordan, Mullen, Perkins, Tisdale, and Leon Wood, were on the gold medal winning team the next year at the LA Olympics.
Known as the Dream Team.
The first one, yeah, with Pat Ewing.
Correct. That's right. And that was when we made the decision we had to have our best.
Well, that was college
to
players.
still win.
84 was college players.
Oh, 84 was still
88
college players?
was college players.
Is that right? So 92 was the first time?
Yeah, in Barcelona. 88, we won bronze in Seoul with John Thompson as the coach, and it was a Georgetown Big East roster. Let's work on these rosters and go to win. I mean, why wouldn't James Wiseman on the Pan Am team?
I am not sure, honestly. I am not sure that any college all-star team could beat Argentina now.
Lose by 39?
That's what I'm saying to you. I think you have to go.
But it's not their pro guys, though. It's their amateurs.
Collegiate amateur players, junior players.
Well, it's a little something going on, but it's not their top level.
Let's see what the average age of those guys are.
That's a fair point. But let's send our best. Let's don't send the Big East All-Stars.
I would bet you their average age is 29 to 31.
We still shouldn't be losing by 39 to them. Our 17-year-olds should be closer than that.
This portion of the show brought to you by Ken Garland. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. He's a pro. We should send him. He's the best. He's the best at dream homes. He's the best at custom home building and renovation with innovation, I call it, because he knows all the new modern technology, puts it into your old home, or if you've got land and you're not sure what to do with it, but you've been thinking about, this is it. This is your home that you're going to settle in forever. Ken knows what to do. If you're looking for land for that kind of home, Ken knows what to do. He's a complete design and build firm. He's with you from the architectural drawings until they finish your dream home. See what I'm talking about? Go to kengarland.com. Then call. Just feel him out. He's one of those rare guys that sees little details and big picture all at the same time. The number is 751-1632, and he's there all the time, I promise you. 751-1632, whether it's a renovation or it's a brand new dream home, there's one got to go see. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. We take a break. Gabe Kuhn will be joining us. We'll talk a little Tiger football in just a second. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Dreaming of the coast? Wake up and run to Crab King Seafood. For the most flavored seafood and biggest plates, there's a Crab King's near you. Visit the Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road or the East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Top Memphis food reviews recently picked Crab King's as a winner in their top 10 category for 2019. Now you know what the King stands for in Crab King's. The price, the portions, the service is why Crab King's is #1. So don't dream of good seafood. Make the right choice the first time and every time. Make it Crab King's. Come and devour tasty snow crabs, king crabs, shrimp, salmon, catfish, calamari, and more. Enjoy Memphis' best tasting pasta with your choice of toppings. Visit the Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road or the East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Crab King's is open Tuesday to Sunday. Enjoy 50% off lunch portions and dollar fountain drinks and hang out with Crab King's for Friday night parties from 8 to 10. For more information, Google Crab King's Memphis or download the app for a free drink with every order. Crab King's, always a Memphis favorite.
Grizz Nation, 2019 marks the 25th season for the Grizzlies franchise, and it's bound to be one for the ages. Now is the time to secure your seats to see the Grizzlies' young core compete all season long. Early bird single game tickets are on sale now through Wednesday, August 14th at Grizzlies.com.
Napa know-how.
At Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care Centers, get a $25 prepaid Visa card when you get any Napa Automotive battery. It's the best deal for some of the best batteries from some of the best car people around. But we might be a little partial. Anywho, pick up any Napa Automotive battery and save $25. Do it yourself or have it done for you. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care Centers while supplies last. Offer ends 8/31/19.
Hey Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday at 5 right here on Sports 66, 96.1, and 87.7. Drew, who do we got in the studio with us this week?
This week on the Blue and Gray Show, joining John in studio is Sports 56's very own and former Memphis lineman Gabe Kuhn. The president of the U of M, David Rudd, will be calling in, along with some other surprise callers.
Thanks, Drew. We'll be here Sunday on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. The Blue and Gray Show, where we talk Tigers with Tigers.
Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish, but there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in on this scorcher of a Tuesday. Hydrate, get inside, get your pets inside. It's 114 degrees out there with the heat index. This is a segment that we, I guess, started last week. I was not here for, but I've been looking forward to this, where we bring in a former Tiger product, a guy on his way up the ladder, a superstar in the making. That would be Gabe Kuhn, who you can hear with John Harden, Johnny Radio, every day, Monday through Friday, right here, right before we come on the air. Seriously, Gabe, it's fun to chat with you. I've been looking
Love
forward
to do
to
it.
this. And I want you at this point to make me feel better.
Okay.
I want you to
About?
take away my fears. Okay?
Okay.
Because I went to it looked a little better today in practice, I'll say. But the scrimmage on Saturday, Fan Fest, the offensive line was my biggest concern.
There's going to be growing pains. These guys are young.
Right.
First start for 3 of them. Moving a position for 1 of them. It's going to have some growing pains. But if I know Ryan Silverfield, if I know Dustin Woodard, come first game, come first snap, they're going to figure it out.
But people have to realize what's missing here. and I just mentioned this a little while ago, but your cohort, Kaiser, 93% of the plays the last 4 years he was in on.
Yeah.
Trevion Tate, all conference, 2.5 years or 3 years, whatever it was. Roger Joseph.
Yeah.
Another guy, wasn't
20
here quite
some
as
odd
long
starts,
as you
though.
guys, but yeah, over 20 starts.
So I can't take away the fear. I know that much. I do like the fact, though, from what I heard and what I saw, the defense looked better.
Yeah,
Looked a lot better.
I
up
agree
front.
with that, but is that because the offensive line? That's where you never know.
Yeah, and it might have a little bit to play with both, but I mean, obviously, we're first scrimmage of the year. You got to expect some growing pains, especially with a brand new O-line.
Defense almost always ahead, aren't they? First scrimmage of the year.
Nah, well, it depends. With this one, certainly you would expect them to be ahead because, there's so much new on that offensive line. But it depends. Like I said, if you have an experienced offense, like last year, the offense should be ahead at this point in the game.
All right, so let's just go over this for 1 second because I think we are all in agreement. There's no way an offense can be really good if they don't have an offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're going to agree with that. All right, so Dustin Woodard.
You're talking to a former center here in Little League football.
Oh, yeah. Really?
I didn't realize that.
Yes,
all
sir.
3 plays that you were in on?
Little League football. I played every play then.
I'm sorry. So I have no problem at all with Dustin Woodard. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I got confidence in Parham.
Yeah.
I think Parham could end up being an NFL guy. I think he's that good.
And I will say, Manny Arona, I know he's brand new.
Yeah.
I know he's a JUCO guy. But from everything I've heard, the report I've gotten from Ryan Silverfield is that he is on point. He's not worried about him at all.
Okay. So let's talk about Abine, Eze, and let's talk about Scotty Dill on the other side.
What I will say about those dudes, when I was there, they were young. They were coming up. They had some growing pains. They needed to learn right footwork. They needed to figure out how they were going to get a little more physical. And I think they've both gotten strong. But there's definitely that first game. And I've told Brett this. This is one of my biggest nerves is that you have an Ole Miss defensive line with a lot of talent. I'm not saying that they're the most physically demanding in the SEC, but there's a lot of talent, there's a lot of speed, there's a lot of power. So when you think about 2 rookie sort of tackles, and we know that Ole Miss has had some nice speed rushers off the edge. You talk about Marquise Haynes. There's definitely going to be some concern there. Do I think those guys have what it takes to be really good at this level? Absolutely. But there's a fine line between, having the physical traits to be able to do it and actually doing it.
Yeah, and for that game, offensive line's everything to me in just about every game. But on that day, I think it's almost mirror strengths and mirror concerns. Mm-hmm. The Ole Miss offensive line, I think, is one to really have some questions about.
Certainly.
Both in starts, in experience. The idea of moving a player that was a tight end in the spring to a tackle position and trying to get him up to maybe 280, 285 if he's that. But I think the Tigers' defensive line, it looks like it could be the strength of the team.
I think it's deeper than it's ever been before. What do you think?
I think I would say it's deep, but what I will say is it's kind of small. It's on the smaller side to me.
And, Gabe, that's what I thought at the Houston game, being down on the field. And I've told you that. Fast, good, and Houston had passed the eye test. They looked like a lot of SEC teams. I thought they were soft as a pelican. And the Tigers stroked them. But I was shocked at the Tigers' size.
Mm-hmm. I think they're small. And there's a concern with me with Ole Miss's O-line to the Tigers' D-line. I like the new scheme, though. It seems like they have guys in the right place. They have, O'Brien Goodson lost some weight. JoJo Dorsey has lost some weight. They have him playing on the edge, standing up. I mean, they're doing some things that really sort of invoke some confidence in me in that defensive front. But again, the size definitely does matter when you're talking about when you're playing against an SEC opponent.
Dorsey's could be scary.
I would agree with that, but here's one thing that does, in my mind, counter Braun, and that's speed.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I really like about Memphis's defense, from what I saw in the spring and from what I've seen in practice and in the scrimmage, is Memphis's team speed on defense is excellent.
And that's something that Adam Fuller talked about they needed to get done when he got in here. So, and also, when you look at sort of the production they have coming back on that D-line, you have a lot of production coming back.
You do?
As far as Bryce Huff and JoJo
I got
and
news for
John
you.
Tate.
You've got it in the secondary, too. A lot of these guys had to play when they were freshmen because of injury. You forget how decimated Memphis' defense has been the last 2 years. So
D-line
all
last
these
year.
young guys have now gotten a lot of experience, plus they're much stronger. And,
And they've gotten some new guys, like Everett Cunningham is a guy that they've been talking about that they think is going to play a big role this year. And then, all the returners definitely, make you happy. But again, first year with a new defense, I think the expectation needs to be obviously not lower, because last year we know how the defense has been for a few years now. It's been struggling. So I think you can't expect too much more out of that group. But I think they'll be a lot better than last year.
What's the offensive line, the offensive room's mindset when you got to go out and win a game 45-42?
And they see that I've had many a conversations about this. Is it sucks. It really does. When you know that your defense can't really get a stop, it really puts a lot of pressure. You start,
you got to bat 1,000.
You start reaching. You start doing way, way, way too much. And there's been some games like that in the past. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully, I mean, I'd be willing to guarantee there will be a game where there's going to be a shootout this year. But I hope it's a lot less than it has been in the past.
I think it will be. I think this defense will not be as porous. The one thing that you got 2 years ago that you didn't get last year was as much a plus on giveaway takeaway, because last year's defense just did not force as many turnovers.
Yeah, and that was Chris Ball's sort of philosophy.
That was his.
But we're going to give up a big play.
But it's not just his. That goes to the whole philosophy of the head coach, who has said on these airwaves, I don't mind yielding yards.
Yeah.
I just don't want to give up touchdowns. I don't mind a field goal because I know my team's going to score touchdowns.
Points. Yeah.
And I want to turn you over.
Yeah.
And if you look 2 years ago, they turned him over.
Yeah. And
last year, not as much.
What do you think of the Tim Hart play? Well, that was in 2017 against.
That was a gift.
That was a gift
from Josh Rosen.
But think what that did to that dynamic of that game. That was in 2017.
Yeah. It does a lot. But last year, the inability to create the turnover really was part of their problems. And
you bent, and you broke.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people talk about them being a bend don't break defense this year, and that would be huge. That would be so big for this team, and it would be huge to. I mean, they're favored in every game. I think that is a reason that the national media has given them sort of that top of the AAC, top of the American rating.
And Gabe, Vegas is not doing this for funsies.
No.
You can't buy Vegas's lines.
No.
I mean, you're not going to kind of sell them sunshine and go, hey, let's prop up so-and-so. They're making them a favorite in every game for a practical reason.
Well,
they know something.
The practical,
they know a lot.
The practical reason is that Las Vegas believes in Mike Norvell's offense.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
And that's the bottom line.
But to a certain extent, they have to believe with how highly rated they are this year, they have to believe that this defense is going to come along and be better.
I agree.
Got to be better.
Let's go to the quarterback, because a lot of people wonder about Brady White. I watched him today. I do think he's
go back to that stat line,
a little bit more.
Why are we worried about it?
If that's the crazy thing, sometimes numbers don't tell the whole story. But 3,300 yards and 26 touchdowns and 9 picks. I mean,
he doesn't make mistakes.
Those are pretty good numbers, folks.
Yeah. One thing that really does bother me, though, now is the depth. With Brady McBride gone, that's going to create some problems as far as what happens if Brady White does go down.
Well, any comfort, and that's everybody in the sport. You let Tua go down, and the world changes for Mac Jones in Alabama.
Yeah, 100%. But I have been I was on Brady White's case last year to a certain extent. I thought his statistics didn't tell the whole story of what you need in that offense. I think Mike Norvell's offense, at times, when you want it to be really, really good and clicking on all cylinders, you need a downfield passing game. And that's the one thing that I think everyone would agree, you guys would probably agree, that we haven't seen from him. But again, his statistics were great. He won games, and he's tough, and he found a way not to make too many mistakes. And I think when you compound a year of experience, his ability to sort of be on top of being smart about the game and not making mistakes, I think year 2 will be sort of a night and day difference. But again, Riley, year 1 to year 2, insane.
Absolutely.
Paxton Lynch, year 1 to year 2, insane.
But let's examine that, because everybody does, and I'm not saying you don't have to have that third layer down the field, because that helps everything.
Yeah.
There's no question. But if we take a look at Paxton, how many you realize what his percentage rate was, because most of his passes were inside 15 yards. We can talk all we want about a rifle for an arm, but his completion rate was so high because they were little dinks and dunks.
Yes, and Brady's the same way. I mean, they throw a lot of those RPOs and swing it out to the sideline. Swing it out to the sideline and run with Pop Williams, and he catches a screen pass. So I think that's part of the reason his stats are bumped up. But I think he has so many tools around him. I mean, when you look at Patrick Taylor, that's going to take some stress off him.
1,000-yard rusher.
DeMonte Coxey, in my opinion, is an NFL prototype wide receiver. Pop Williams, you're talking about a senior who's coming along as a captain, who has shown some good production. I think he has more in him this year. Mm-hmm. And then even how deep they are at wide receiver. You talk about Kadarian Jones down the line, and even you talk about Kenny Gainwell as well in that backfield. I think he has so many things around him that he will be able to improve.
Not to mention 2 tight ends.
Two tight ends. I'm sorry. I would, Joey and Sean, obviously great pass catchers. Joey can block as well. So I think he has plenty around him.
Last thing, Gabe, let's go to the NFL. You know them both well. Which one do you think will have the bigger NFL career? Jerry Jones just effusive in his praise over the weekend. Will it be Darrell or will it be Pollard?
I said this before, and I think, and this is no shot against Darrell. I think Darrell will have certainly a nice, productive career in the NFL. But I think Tony has all the makings of a zone back in the NFL. He's big. He can take the body blows. I mean, he's 6 foot, 200 pounds. He can catch it out of the backfield. He can do gadgets. He can do just about anything you want. He can block. So I think him, and especially where he got drafted too. I mean, he got drafted into one of the most perfect situations for him as a back. Because when you talk about the Cowboys and how they have made their money and made their offense great is off zone running. And while I do think Tony was somewhat underutilized in Memphis, just a little bit, I think his zone running ability is going to make him just better at the next level.
I do, and I'm not disputing you, and I've heard that a bunch, but I've had these discussions with Mike Norvell. It's a tough problem. You got Darrell Henderson, who, by the way, is averaging, like, at one time when the Tony Pollard discussion was coming up, he's only averaging like 12 yards a carry.
And they would score so fast.
And you got Patrick Taylor. You got to make him happy.
You got to fog it around throwing it.
You was Dorcius still around then?
Yep.
Yeah, Dorcius in the backfield as well. You've got other wide receivers that you've got to take into account. You got 2 tight ends you got to take into account. You've only got 1 ball per play that you can distribute. So my question is to you.
How would he have used it more?
What would you have done differently?
I see. That's the thing, and I think as a back being able to get those carries, I think he was a little bit underused. I'll fix that. But the reason he didn't get as utilized because he could do more than those guys.
Exactly.
You could split him out, put him at wide receiver. So I mean that's the reason. And obviously it's a good problem to have. Yeah. Is to have all that talent. So I mean,
you know what? Ezekiel Elliott's holdout might be the greatest thing to Tony Pollard too.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot this morning about how he is ready to take take the brunt of all those carries if Zeke is not going to get his extension.
Well, Zeke says he won't play unless he gets the extension.
Yep. So looks like Tony
Pollard, all-pro, rookie, MVP, and rookie of the year same year. First time ever history of that.
For Super Bowl champion.
Could be.
No?
Go all
Give
the way
it to
with
them all.
Dave.
What the heck? Then Tony Pollard. Where's that restaurant? His folks' restaurant?
Oh, it's somewhere on here. I don't know.
I've
never been. I should have been. I
yeah.
I feel like I should have been by now.
Me too. I'm with you. We have to go.
Yeah.
We'll do that. I'll buy you lunch for doing all this stuff. Thank you. Yes. We appreciate it. That is the man, Gabe Cohn. You hear him every day, 1 to 3, right here before us on Sports 56. I'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by Family Leisure. Family Leisure, we're sitting in the studios, but the place you got to go is I-40 and Whedon Road. And they're celebrating the end of summer, although it's really not here. Just walk outside, you'll see it. But we got the end of summer liquidation sale. Pools as low, and I'm not lying, $19.99, under $2,000. Patio furniture, state of the art, top of the line, as little as $12.99. Swim spas, the big ones, they start at under $1,000. Hey, there's still plenty of summer left to enjoy the great deals during the end of summer liquidation sale at Family Leisure. We take a break. We put a wrap on this, hour number 1 on this scorcher of a Tuesday on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Get happy with Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Have you ever noticed your air conditioning system never breaks down at a good time? We know at Conway Services the timing's not always right to replace your air conditioning systems. That's why we have financing options available. Right now, during the dog days of summer, get your new Carrier air conditioning system for as low as $99 per month. That's right, Conway Services has new Carrier air conditioning systems as low as $99 per month. And you could do that. Plus, your new air conditioning system comes with a 10-year parts warranty, a free Nest thermostat, and you know with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Hi, folks. Rob Walker, Infiniti of Memphis, and we've got a new Infiniti crossover vehicle that has raised the standard of comparison to a new level. Imagine having both sports car performance and eco-friendly efficiency on demand, working together to empower every driving experience. The result of 20 years of engineering, QX50's award-winning variable compression turbo engine is the world's only engine of its kind. Like two engines in one, it delivers a combination of power and efficiency that is truly in a category all its own, and only Infiniti has it. You'll never sacrifice performance for the sake of efficiency again. And QX50 MSRP starts at only $36,550, which is less than its Acura, Audi, and Mercedes competitors. Add to that QX50's award-winning sumptuous interior, and you have the best combination of performance and comfort in the mid-size crossover segment.
MSRP excludes destination charge, tax, title, license, and options. Infiniti of Memphis or online at infinityofmemphis.com.
I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar, your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochen and Brett Norsworthy.
I don't know how we've done this 2 weeks in a row with me doing the hairy spot right after Gabe, who has not shaved in a while. But if you're thinking about going on a last trip of the summer, every trip I've gone on, I've always made sure this summer to pack my Harry's razor, and I've had the closest, coolest summer shave. And on a day like today, you want that good, cool shave, a close, comfortable shave with Harry's. Refresh your face and your wallet with blades as low is $2 each. Harry's believes you shouldn't have to trade quality for a great quality for a low price. You deserve both, and you can get both with Harry's. They make quality, durable blades at a fair price, just $2 per replacement cartridge. That's half the price of their leading competitor, and it comes with Harry's 100% quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, let them know. They'll give you a full refund, and Harry's cares about giving back. 1% of all sales are donated to charitable organizations. This summer, Harry's has a special offer for listeners of our show. New customers get $5 off a trial set from Harry's with code STATS at harrys.com. That means you get a razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping when you use code STATS at harrys.com. And when you run out, remember, Harry's replacement cartridges are just $2 each. If you prefer to shop in a store, Harry's razors are also available at Walmart and Target. When I shave with Harry's.
Have you ever seen the fantasy show with Matthew Berry on ESPN?
I haven't. I think today is the 24-hour takeover, all things NFL fantasy.
Well, the only reason I bring it up, and I would confess, until this very moment, I never really viewed it.
I love fantasy football, but I don't watch that.
I haven't been in fantasy football
in 12 years.
In longer than that for me. Like I was in the first couple of leagues they had around, and then I
loved it.
I stopped. But they just did a whole segment on a breakout receiver in his second year.
I bet I know
he also happens to be a Chicago Bears.
That's right.
Our Bears. 17, Anthony Miller. I'm telling you, they just did about a 3-minute segment on Anthony Miller.
Well, seriously, Dave, isn't anything tied to Mitch Trubisky and a big year tied to Anthony Miller?
Yeah, absolutely.
It works, hand in glove. If Trubisky is over those summertime rankings, and we did our top 12 NFL quarterbacks while you were gone, and I had Trubisky 12, and you know what Drew accused me of?
Being a homer?
Being a Bears homer.
Because I didn't have him in my top 12.
Where did you have him?
I only did 12, so I don't know.
He's just out
there. Do you
there.
remember when I gave you the it was some power rating? What was he? It was like 24.
Which he's better than that.
Crazy. 24. You had half of that. 12.
I had him 12th.
I don't know if I could rate him as high as 12. And I love him. He's got to prove it. If he's 12 with the Bear defense, if he's 12 when this year is out.
Here we go. You know what's coming up next. The
Super Bowl. Where's the Super Bowl?
Miami.
In Miami.
They lost last time in the rain there.
We might be on our way. No, you're not going to lose twice in a row.
The whole kicking thing with the Bears. Get it settled.
No, we got a guy now.
Get it out of the newspapers.
You know what? You and I are on the same page with this. Every time I read something about the Bears, it's always this stupid kicking thing. For goodness sake. Now, I know it's important.
It's very important, but move on from it. I mean, they're
that stupid, Parky. That was ridiculous. The Bears.
It was blocked.
He was bad. He was inconsistent. He was bad. I'm glad he's gone.
Check the tape, Dave. It was tipped. Come on.
You will never. Well, maybe he kicked it a little low. You ever think of that?
It came out low. It did do that.
He's not a pressure guy. We better off without him.
Tough place to kick in the
You know what he
postseason,
is? He is the karma kickback, literally, for getting rid of
Robbie Gould.
Because they got rid of Robbie Gould 5 years before they needed to.
Told you.
I'm bitter.
Here's the goal kicking thing. Got to let it go, Dave.
I'll let it go when you let go of the fact that I had a guy 3 positions.
He's gonna do that, Drew. Are you seriously going to do that, Dave? We were going to move on.
He walks in the building. He brings up lawyers.
Says he's going to get a lawyer, which never goes over well.
And now he wants to keep trying to throw it in our face.
And when we were ready to let it go, weren't we?
I was on the fence about it.
Yeah.
John, you know what, Dave? You're just done
there
for the day. Any more words you have to say today has to go through the lawyers. If you want to bring them in, I'm only talking to them.
Is this the day you're leaving early to play golf with Walker Taylor? Oh, it's not? Okay.
No, I'm not doing it. It's too hot.
It is too hot. Everybody, even this late hour, be careful. You're going to try to get that emergency 9 in.
Did we give out the order? I think we did. We got Brent Parrott coming up.
We do. We'll talk more college football with Brent down in Jacksonville. Get his thoughts on the college football year. It's getting really close. 11 days.
11 days. Wow. You realize this is what I meant to ask Gabe. The Tigers are going to Lambeth.
To Jackson.
They're going to Jackson, yeah.
We can visit with him about it next week.
Yeah.
He talked a little about it last week. And
I wonder if the players like that. They seem to have a nice little bonding. I don't know if the facilities are the greatest.
I think it's worth doing.
Does Ole Miss do anything like that?
No, they keep it there. I don't know anybody in it. Most famous A&M, the Junction Boys.
I remember that.
It's nothing like that, and shouldn't be. I told you Howard Schnellenberger said at one time at a Super Bowl, had him on, and I asked him about playing for Coach Bryant at Kentucky and what it was like. And he goes, where's our movie?
The Junction Boys had it easy, right?
He said, where's our movie?
I do remember that.
He said, the Junction Boys looked to me like they had it easy.
That's easy.
The old time.
I don't know. I don't want to know what hard is.
The old time trainer on that staff in the movie, Smokey Burgess. I think when they got to Alabama, Coach Bryant wanted to do it again. He said, "You can't play with fire. We could lose somebody.
Right?
Don't do it again."
The guy that wrote that book is Jim Dent.
Yeah, we've had him on.
Yeah. Jim and I, we won a media golf tournament at Colonial.
Boy, he must have been good.
Where the Colonial Invitational was. No, he was not good, and I was much worse than now. But we did have a guy from the University of Houston golf team on. That's how we won. We got to take a break. We'll be back in just a minute. This portion of the show is brought to you by Memphis Public Golf. It's been a great year for Memphis Public Golf. It really has. They started and they had another wonderful, it's not called the Pub Links anymore. It's the Amateur Championship, which is great because it's so inclusive, and that is really what public golf is supposed to be all about. Better play every day for everyone. And they do. All junior golfers still going on, 17 and under, free greens fees, all courses except Callaway, Monday through Friday after 12. Even on what's after 12 on weekends and holidays, Monday through Friday all day. Now you can do family golf at the links Saturday afternoons after 12 o'clock. Then there's free junior golf clinics Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at the links at Whitehaven starting at 4:30. Then on Thursday at Pine Hill. That's right, free golf lessons for anybody 17 and under. Women's golf at Overton on Wednesdays. There's something for everybody. And by the way, these golf courses are in great shape. Go see what I'm talking about. Memphis Public Links. Better play every day for everyone. We are back in a minute. We will head down to Jacksonville. Brent Baird standing by. College football front and center next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Gun enthusiasts in the Mid-South know all about guns and ammo at 3615 Summer and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven, because they carry the largest selection of both guns and ammo in the area. They are authorized dealers of Colt, Benelli, CZ, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Ruger, Sig Sauer, Vergara, and a lot more. If you or someone you know is looking for something for self-defense, competition, hunting, or just something that goes boom, then get to Guns and Ammo, 3615 Summer in Memphis and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven. Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches, 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brad Norsworthy.
My world was strapped against my back.
Welcome back in. You've got Wolo, you've got Stats, you've got a scorcher outside. It's like 114 degrees.
Hurry up and get here, football.
The heat index. Practice was, I honestly, again, I marvel at these big athletes, how they can handle this heat, but they did. They did well at practice.
Well, they're all in
today.
tip-top shape. Nobody's using August anymore to get in shape.
No,
you could.
Seriously,
you could be injured.
I can remember
they wouldn't let you go out there
when I was a kid. The Bears used to go away. They would go to Wisconsin, and they would actually use training camp to get in shape because that was before there were OTAs and all the other little mini camps they had. Of course, that was when players had other jobs besides football. Now that's not anything to worry about. I see we've got them. So that okay. Wasn't sure, but Brent Beard joins us. If it's hot here, I can only imagine what it's like in Jacksonville. What is your heat index, Brent, right at this very moment?
Well, it was 117 a couple of days ago. So right now it's a little better. I would say it's at least probably 100, 105. So cooling trend for us.
We've got you this year. We got 114 today.
Yeah, since we will be in attendance at the Miami, Florida game next Saturday night, which we're quite excited about. We're hoping that the weather is going to cooperate with us.
Can you imagine the Junction Boys back in the day, Brent?
It's funny. I've thought about that a lot, and
it would be a little after this.
Someone brought it up to me lately, and those guys really, people may not realize this, but they were not allowed to have water for, hours at a time?
Yeah.
I think they got maybe, a salt pill or something of that nature.
Yeah, I knew, too. I know you knew Gene Stallings, who in Dave as well. And also there was a man from Little Rock named Drake Keith. He was part of it. And they, that was 2 survivors. And I've talked to Jack Pardee, and, they all were proud of it. I don't know if they'd want to do it again. It was a little bit later than this, but it was down in the deserts of Texas, and water was the reward. And it was also about 60 years ago, and we wouldn't try it now because we've learned to be smarter.
Yeah. Well, but what's interesting back then, guys, is now again we didn't have the reporting that we do today in Instagram and Twitter, but you just did not hear of the incidents that you do today as far as the injuries and guys having heat exhaustion and things of that nature. I mean, were they that much tougher back then, or was it that we just didn't have anywhere near the coverage that we do?
The latter.
So that we just didn't know what actually happened.
I think that's probably true. Yeah, I do. There is a story out. It's a tight end from South Carolina, Evan Hinson, now out 6 to 8 weeks after test showed he had an irregular heartbeat. He's going to go ablation surgery to correct the issue. And, the reason I sort of bring this up is, well, it's just happened, one. But two, this is another aspect of where you find
that's serious.
They would not have found that several years ago,
True.
right? We now know this only because of new modern technology.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing that I wonder how many guys have been saved over the last 5 to 10 years because of the technology in the advancements and training that we've got in situations like that. Good for him. That is tremendous, frankly. And are you guys aware of Chris Stewart?
Yes.
The sideline report for Alabama football, who is play-by-play for Alabama basketball.
I know him well.
Had heart surgery yesterday, and you remember he had a stroke probably earlier in the year, and they were able to basically diagnose his heart issues after he had the stroke. He said he was having some twinges in his arm, and that led him to go back to the cardiologist. So he had bypass surgery.
Yeah, I think
this week. So one led to another, and that very well may have saved his life.
His first setback was over a year ago, and then he kind of struggled through last year, and then he's had this one. I saw him at SEC Media Days. I know you did as well, and Dave goes way back with him to even UAB.
I remember when he was just a kid.
And of course they were together. If you'd see one, if you saw David Crane, you saw Chris. If you saw Chris, you saw David Crane.
Right.
And really good friends. And I got David off to the side, and I said, "What do we have here?" And he said, "Well, we've got some things to go through and get through." And it sounds like he is doing that. And the Alabama network's been great to him, and they've told him, whatever role you can come back in, you can come back in. The 2020 schedule was released last week, Brent, and it looks like the entire league got shaken up to accommodate Auburn and Georgia.
Well, and before I comment on that, at least let me also say I'm glad you mentioned David Crane was to me an undervalued and publicized guy who I think's done a tremendous job in what he's done as of late. So I give him a lot of credit for that. But Brett's right. The 2020 schedule. I think you've got 2 or 3 things happening here. One of them is the league wanted to do something about the November games before the rivalry games.
Okay,
so now you've got Auburn playing LSU before they play Alabama. Alabama playing A&M before they play Auburn. So they wanted to do something about that awful November situation before the rivalry games, and they have done that. Yes, Auburn and Georgia kind of started the wheels moving with that. But yes, next year's schedule I think is, I don't know if drastically different is what I want to say, but it certainly is different. And guys, I think it's symbolic of the desire for these athletic directors to have better games so people can come. They're complaining about paying all this money, and we understand it, to go to games that are subpar. And I think that's the response we're getting is what we're seeing in 2020.
Let me tell you about an email I and other people that have stayed there for any reason through the years. If you stayed at Alabama by the Bryant Museum at the hotel that I think it shared in Capstone, it shared in 4 Points. If you've ever stayed there, you're on their email list. And I've stayed there at graduation. I've stayed there at basketball. I've stayed there when Iron Bowl's been at Auburn, but we've met there to head down on the plains. And the email today, and we know the old 2-night minimum stuff in college towns, But today, for games like New Mexico State, the Southern Miss game, and even the Saturday night of the Ole Miss game, you can stay there, no 2-night minimum.
Wow, how about that? Yeah, well,
that's screaming, please come.
And look, I think this is indicative to go along with that is the packages that Alabama, Tennessee, Florida State, among others, are providing for these fans. And I talked to a fan yesterday who said, I don't know if I can afford tickets anymore and if I can afford the cost of just getting on the list, so I may go to some of these and buy some of these packages, guys. That's where things are changing.
Interesting. So, please come. We won't gouge you anymore.
Not as much. It's still like $375 a night, but we're not going to rope you into 2 nights.
Man.
Yeah, right. Which does help.
And Brent, you mentioned. And a lot of baseball teams do this. The Cardinals are doing this, and to do it, to have that immediacy of a sellout, and a lot of colleges are doing it. They call it flash ticket pricing, where like day of game, they put out there a $4 to $8 to $12 ticket. Okay, well, that sounds great for all right. It's kind of pay me now or pay me later, but that devalues the season ticket holder. He's thinking, what did I pay all that money for? Way back when, and send in that check and lose my interest, on my money for you to throw up flash pricing day of game.
That's why you've got people rethinking what they're going to be doing in the future. So, which along with that is the ADs are saying, okay, for us to combat this, what we've got to do is we've got to make it an experience in the stadium that is more similar to what you would have at home, minus, I guess, the refrigerator and the air conditioning. And then we've got to have games that are attractive enough that people want to come, i.e. what Nick Saban has said this week about playing, at least 10 Power 5 conferences on your schedule, Power 5 teams on your schedule. So that's what they're looking at, guys, for the future. Because if they don't, and I think it's that old expression with these ticket packages, some money's better than no money, right?
That's it.
Absolutely. Are you fans at all of Hard Knocks, the NFL show that attaches itself to a team?
I don't get HBO, so I've really never watched.
It is really well done, and I think it really ends up promoting the sport a great deal, and invites maybe a fan who's not a hardcore fan to really care more about a particular team. So that being said, I don't know if you've heard this, but right now HBO is in negotiations with 4 college football teams to do the same program, and those 4 programs are Alabama, Arizona State, Penn State, and Washington State.
Look,
if this were Alabama, what? Go ahead.
Just to see what Mike Leach would say.
That's exactly. I was going to say, of all the 4 schools that were mentioned there,
you'll win it.
The one that I'd want to watch would be Washington State. Because you don't know what Mike Leach is going to say.
They better have the 7-second delay on for Scott Cochran at Bama.
Everything's on tape.
Well, and again, Saban truly hates that, but he's willing to do it because of what it would do for him in recruiting.
Yeah, and he's let them go inside before.
Yes.
Now, I think they do have some editorial sway over what's finally released. I don't know if they will or won't. On this, back to the stadium issue, it won't be during Brett or Brent or Dave's lifetime. Do we ever see a dome stadium in SEC?
Again, it's funny you said that, but because I got into a discussion last night with some people about that, and it was brought up was, I guess we understand this, but what kind of difference would it have made if we would have started doing that 20 and 30 years ago? If we would have had dome stadiums where
and 40,000 seats.
Yeah, absolutely.
But where?
So but I tell you guys, and obviously it would be an incredible amount of money to do it. But the thing about it is, would it be worth it in the long run with the amount? And look, in as much as people enjoy SEC football, I hear this a lot in the press box. Is, boy, if it hadn't been cloudy and rainy this morning, we'd have had another 5,000 people here. And if you go by that logic, would a dome stadium pay for itself over the years?
My question for you is, where would you really need it? Except, I mean, come on, you're worried about the rain in Gainesville? I mean, where, other than Columbia, Missouri, where it can get cold, and I've seen that.
Fayetteville, Lexington can get cold.
That cold?
But when
you're talking about maybe some games in November, but in October and September.
It gets cold in Knoxville. But I bring it up in that we're trying to fight the conference of home, and we're never going to win that. You're never going to win the conference of home.
Right.
No, because you got to fight traffic.
but to me, Dave, I think you need it in September. And some in August
for air conditioning
this year, as much or more as you do when it's cold.
And we say that, and it's going to be, look, $25 gets you between the 40s at Alabama and Duke at the Mercedes-Benz Dome Labor Day weekend. $25. Now you might have to pay $75 to park. Parking may be more than your 50-yard line seat.
Yeah,
that's true.
It is. Absolutely, it is, and you're going to see that around. We don't have the great opening games. We got several, but I don't think we've got the great opening games we had. What, guys, 2 years ago on that Florida State Alabama weekend.
We have a good week too. Dave and I are going to pick on Friday, August 29th. We're going to go game by game, W's and L's. On Friday, August 30th. We're going to pick Tennessee. Right now, where are you on the Vols, year 2 of Jeremy Pruitt? What kind of record?
I was out until I saw so many of these guys. I'm a line of scrimmage guy in this league. And if you've got a really good line of scrimmage, I think you can go to bowl game and you can challenge eventually for championships. My concern for them is with these offensive linemen retiring, and then you've got the injuries that you do on the defensive line. I still think they will be anywhere from 5-7, 6-6. Hopefully, I mean, it'd be tremendous for them to be able to go to a bowl game right now. But if these injuries continue, and I tell you another thing that's going to make a difference. I mean, obviously they lost Emmett Gooden, but if Trey Smith can play for them this year, I'm not sure. This sounds strange for a lineman. I'm not sure Smith that wouldn't win a game because of his abilities almost for them at some point. So I'll go either 5-7 or 6-6, and I hope it's that many.
Do they beat Kentucky and Lexington? Do they beat Missouri and Columbia?
They've got, like a lot of these schools, they've got several 50-50 games, Dave. That's a great question.
It's so many games that both sides.
If they've got it rolling and the defense is better than we think it might be, maybe. But if you're asking right now, which you are, in both those games, I'd almost give them an L.
It's so many games. Like everybody playing Arkansas has that as a W. Everybody playing Kentucky, they pretty much have that as a win. Everybody playing Ole Miss. Not everybody, but some to a lot have W's over State, over Mizzou. Everybody thinks it over South Carolina. Everybody thinks it over Tennessee, and everybody knows it over Vandy. That's not all going to happen.
No.
It's not. No,
it's a lot of 50-50 games.
Offense, and yes, we said offense, not defense. And then what if Kelly Bryant comes through at Missouri,
Yep.
and Kentucky may not win 10, but they're on such a roll right now. If they get some playmakers, they'll be in another bowl. So that's the thing that intrigues me about the league, guys, as much as figuring out who's going to challenge Georgia and Alabama, or these who is going to win these 50-50 games. That's what's going to be intriguing.
Here's the bold answer. The home team.
Yes, and the team,
I'm with you.
and the teams that do that are the ones who are going to be will end up in the upper echelon of the division and go to a better bowl game.
Let me just say this. If you think Missouri is a pushover and you got to play in Columbia, forget about it. Because one thing
I do.
People don't realize, Missouri is a physical football team.
Yes. Yeah. They like it nasty, and Pinkel really brought that. I mean, he showed that right out of the gate.
Barry Odom is picking it right back up.
Sure is.
No doubt about it.
Listen, their D-line, and I'm sure Brett told this in person, but their D-line during the
championship
last few years of Pinkel in the first year of Barry Odom were, I'm not saying they were Alabama and Georgia and Clemson, but that was a doggone good defensive line.
Thank you, Brent. We appreciate it, and we'll be ever closer next week when we talk to you.
Game week next week, guys. How exciting is that?
That's right. I'm ready. I am absolutely ready.
Thank you, Brent.
Always a pleasure. Take care.
Brent Beard from down in Jacksonville. Our title sponsor this hour of the program, Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. That is the perfect marriage, I like to say, between technology and service, between product, where you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every new Hyundai in the place, or Genesis. And that's another thing I got to tell you about Homer Skelton Hyundai. It's also Homer Skelton Genesis. Not every Hyundai dealership has the privilege of selling Genesis, which is a luxury line of cars now, I think, best made around. I really do. Go see for yourself. Go for a test drive, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. See that G70. And if your eyes don't light up when you try that G70, my goodness. And, by the way, they're making Homer Skelton Genesis even bigger in the next year or two. They're enlarging the dealership. There's going to be separate entrances. It's going to be a big deal. Everything Chris True does is a big deal, and it's full of shopper assurance. Go find out what that is all about. Just take Lamar into Mississippi. The first exit's Craft Road. Turn left, and you will have found the place where they do car business the way it should be done. Homer Skelton Hyundai. We take a time out. When we come back, it'll be so good to have in the house. Jeff Moore is here on the National Football League. That's next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
If you're the owner of a company and you're tired of a dirty office building, or maybe you're tired of dirty restrooms, or floors and carpets that are filthy, or windows that you can't even see through, I've got a solution. Let Trinity be your cleaning solution. Trinity Professional Services. They're putting professionalism back in cleaning. They specialize in stripping and waxing and buffing floors, in cleaning carpet. Just make it seem like it's spring outside. Window cleaning where you see through and everything shines. Commercial janitorial services specializing in final construction cleaning. Hey, the people that own this company, they are big construction people. They know what needs to be done. So if you would like it done the right way, call Todd Pope or Tommy Ferrari, the former Tiger quarterback, at 833-6773. 833-6773. It's Trinity. They're your cleaning solution.
Family Leisure is celebrating the end of summer with the appropriately titled End of Summer Liquidation Sale. You can get pools for as low as $19.99, patio furniture starting at $12.99, and swim spas, they begin at $99.99. Don't forget to ask about fast installation because there's still enough summer left to enjoy these deals during the End of Summer Liquidation Sale happening now at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
At Sunrise on Jefferson, there are meals for every appetite, and sometimes you really have an appetite. That's when the plates come in. If you really want to fuel up, have the kitchen sink. 2 eggs prepared any way you like. Sausage, bacon, hash browns, biscuit, and Hannah Farm grits. Now that's a meal. Sunrise also has the best omelet. Look at the menu, it says it right there. The best omelet, and it's true. Spinach, artichoke, tomato, goat cheese, and salsa verde. If you're ready to fill up on breakfast, you're ready for Sunrise.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day. Group play and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in on this hot Tuesday. Hot in here, because we get to welcome back into the fold for the first time this year our friend Jeff Moore, who has been a part of my program or all the way back to George Lapidus' program. Do you have any idea, Jeff,
this
how
is
many
the
years?
25th year, yeah.
92?
Yeah.
Fifth year.
94.
94, okay.
Yeah.
25th year.
Jeff Moore,
time flies, yeah.
You look like you could play.
Thank you.
He does.
I still get out and run wind sprints every now and then.
We were talking about the conditioning, how hot it is, and everybody be careful.
Yeah.
Please tell me, Coach Majors, water wasn't a reward, was it? You got water down.
We did. We did get water. That's about all.
He was tough.
Yeah, we got water. Hey, that was one of the best experiences, though. When the experiences with Coach Battle leaving and him coming in, I mean, they put us to the test.
Was Battle more old school? Would he hold water as a sign of toughness?
No. None of the
by then, everybody knew.
Yeah,
especially
they
at that
did.
level.
But now they would.
You wouldn't
run
sign anybody.
They would. Coach Majors would run you after practice till you cramped up, and water wasn't enough to get you back feeling normal again. But he had to separate, and he had to find out who really wanted to play. And I understand that, and it was just a great experience for us. We were just talking about the fact that they went to a bowl game the year before we got there, and the year after our class left. So we
you caught some tough years at Tennessee, too, for Coach Battle, too, for Coach Majors. But what a football family! Your late brother Steve played in a Super Bowl. You played in a Super Bowl. Vincent was a great player at Tennessee. I've got Razorback friends of mine, including Coach Ken Hatfield. They still thought Vince Moore would have been a great wishbone quarterback at Arkansas.
Yeah, he came very close. But I think he just got a little spooked about that drive up to Arkansas. And he had oranges in his blood too.
He did
grew up
with
around
you,
orange,
and he wanted to play wide receiver, not option quarterback, getting tagged every play.
Exactly.
It is interesting. You didn't get to play in a bowl in college, but you got to the big game, the Super Bowl,
absolutely,
with the Los Angeles Rams, and of course you've been talking about this now for 25 years. As we get set, we've already got the Hall of Fame game done. We've already had another week of exhibition football. What are the storylines you are most excited about this year?
Well, just watching Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes is a special talent. I watched him in the preseason game. That offense just looks like they're crisp and hungry to prove themselves. They came very close to getting the Patriots last year. I think that's going to be a great and interesting story to watch. And I think the Saints are going to be back in the hunt this year. Drew Brees doesn't seem like he's getting any slower or older. They came close, should have been in the big game last year with that bad call that was missed. So those are things that are going to be interesting to watch. And then the pass interference change, I think, was a really intelligent move by the league to get that fixed because you just don't want to lose playoff games that way. When a referee or official misses a call like that, they've got the opportunity to review it and call it in spite of the official missing it. That's a good rule change. Players have moved around. You know, I'm interested to see how Antonio Brown's going to do with the Raiders. I know there's been a lot of noise about his preseason, but this guy is he's special, and they've got a good quarterback there that can get the ball to him. They need that kind of talent to get the Raiders moving in the right direction. But the Chargers, man, they made a good run last year. They've got a young coach. They've got really good talent. Phillip Rivers, Hall of Fame quarterback. They're going to be in the hunt in the AFC. I think the Patriots are going to get challenged this time around.
Won't that make it more fun? I've said, the Browns are kind of the summertime darling, but a Browns-Kansas City AFC championship game, unless you're a Patriots fan, wouldn't that be more fun?
It would be fascinating to see Browns against anybody. Frankly, it would be a great story. And I think the Browns are going to be in the hunt. I love Baker Mayfield, the moxie he brings to the game. The players respond very well to him. Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, they've got some firepower on offense. Their defense is very respectable. They still got to beat the Steelers, and they've got a lot to prove. But I think it appears to me that the kind of coach they have is a guy that just lets the players be themselves, believe in each other, and come together and play together. And they're playing with a lot of confidence right now.
I know that the Browns went from no wins to 7.
Which is big.
It is big.
Yeah.
A year ago, we were talking about an 0-16 team.
I know.
Yeah.
I just don't. I
don't either.
I'm not saying that the Browns aren't going to improve a little bit, and I'm not saying the Browns will not be a force in 2 years or so.
But booking rooms at the Fountain Blue in Miami,
to me, it's jumping the gun just a little bit. So you mentioned the Steelers and you mentioned the Chargers, Brady and Breeze. Those four teams with four quarterbacks, with Roethlisberger and Rivers. Which one of those guys do you think will look old this year?
Gosh, I mean,
because they're all critically important to their teams. They cannot win without them being
I don't think
like
any of them
they've
gonna
always
look
been.
old. I don't think any of them going to look old. But if anybody maybe slows down a step, it may be Rivers, only because he tends to take a little more punishment than those other guys. The offenses around those other players are doing an extremely good job of protecting them and getting the ball out of their hands faster. He's probably the guy who stands in the pocket the longest, and with that wind-up throw he has, he probably takes more hits. But man, Tom Brady looks younger. I mean, the guy looks like he's found the fountain of youth. Drew Brees, the way that offense is, he'll get the ball out of his hands quickly. He's not going to take a lot of punishment. Roethlisberger, he's I think he'll be playing better because he doesn't have the distractions he's had over the last couple of years. They probably had the most peaceful training camp they've had in 7 years, with both Antonio Brown being gone and Le'Veon Bell. I mean, they've been able to just come and play football and not have to be answering questions about wayward teammates. So I expect them to have a good year.
Jeffrey, when you played in the NFL, it was open season on you guys running routes.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit, at the line of scrimmage now, but used to, I mean, even like in the free clear, you could get hit from behind. And how we treated quarterbacks back then, I mean, you're gonna see, it may not be Tom Brady. He may not go to 45, 46 like he's talking about it, but if somebody wants to, I think they'll be able to, because they're not getting hit like they used to would get hit, and that's a good thing.
It is. I think the rules that they've instituted to protect the quarterback are just important to the way the game is played now. And, you just see so many wide open offenses. It's going to be exciting to play or to watch rather. Lamar Jackson at Baltimore is going to always be an exciting player to watch. Then at Arizona, we've
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun at Houston, absolutely.
Kyler Murray.
And then Tyler Murray at Arizona. These guys are just blurs. They're hard.
Not to mention Mayfield and Mahomes
and senior status and Cam.
Well, Cam, but I got to throw in. We're going young here. I got to throw in my guy Trubisky.
He can run.
Yeah,
let's not forget Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah,
Jeff, did you know Dave was a Bears
big
fan?
big time, and I love the Bears defense. I think I like them to win that division. It's going to be tough. I think they're going to be the physical black and blue division that they've always been. But I really love this defense, and if they can bring that offense up. Just a notch from where they were last year. They're going to be
just
fine.
A notch. What about Aaron Rodgers? Kind of a new start with him with a new coach in Green Bay.
Aaron's going to show up and be great like he always is. I don't know about his supporting cast, and it'll be interesting to see what they implement in their running game and the way that they use their receivers and tight ends to kind of get him some help. That's been one of the biggest, to me, mysteries of this Green Bay organization is they just haven't been committed to getting the kind of talent around this great quarterback that, you would think they would. They were fortunate to win a Super Bowl, of course, earlier in his career, but since that time, they just haven't put a lot of talent around him.
They haven't. The idea of him ending with just one, that would be a shame.
Yeah. Well, I that may be the case.
We could be on the way to it.
Yeah.
What about the year for the Titans in this neighborhood? Marcus Mariota, who's never played a full season yet because of injury, and the elevation of Memphis and Arthur Smith to becoming the offensive coordinator, which seems everybody around Nashville is really pleased with what they've seen thus far. Give me your take of the Titans.
So I think they still are a work in progress. The challenge they have is the Colts have returned. Andrew Luck had a stellar year last year. That organization, that team, I think is going to be formidable again in that division. And then Houston, I think, defensively, offensively, I think they're the third, tier in that division, which is going to be tough. They always play each other tough, but they've got some work to do, I think, to be better than those two teams.
What's the best division in football?
I think I'd say it's going to be kind of close between the NFC South and the NFC North. I think Atlanta, we'll see, but New Orleans is going to be formidable. I think Carolina's going to be good. I'm looking forward to seeing what Tampa does with Bruce coming back into the league and infusing some experience and energy into that team. I think that division has a lot of talent.
Jameis Winston.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that team has a lot of talent. And then, of course, we talked about the Bears. The Bears, Minnesota's, I think, a good playoff team.
Packers.
And the Packers. so between those two, NFC North, NFC South, for sure.
We're going to do Super Bowl predictions in about 2 weeks or so when we go through all this, as we always do. Sports radio, rite of passage, do all these predictions. How about this? How about we implement this? For fun's sake, you can't pick New England.
I wouldn't pick them anyway.
I didn't think New England was going to win last year, let alone this year.
I didn't think they were going to win at Christmas time last year.
Yeah.
Is it accepted? We know. I think when you think of the great coaches of all time, you probably think Lombardi, and I like to say George Halas is in that conversation, Shula. And Don Shula certainly is up there. Do we accept that? There's no doubt Bill Belichick is probably the best of all now?
I do. Now, there's a little bit of an asterisk only because of the
edginess.
The edginess.
The skullduggery.
But the Spygate. That was real.
Yeah.
And the footballs. I didn't put a lot of credibility in the deflated balls.
If there's anything to deflated balls, I don't think you can blame Belichick for that. That is on Brady.
Yeah.
Well, and Andrew Luck didn't say anything either. He liked him deflated that day too to get a better tack and grip on him. It was everybody was giving it as good as they were getting it that day. But on the Spygate, that was real. But I'm there. He's best.
And the reason I say he's the best is because of the success that they've had with the moving parts. I mean, they basically they could take the names off the back of the team, the players' jerseys. I mean, they line up with the exception of Brady. I mean, they've been moving guys around on both sides of the ball and still being successful. That's coaching. I mean, and then when a guy gets up to the point where he's ready to kind of demand a big contract, he ships him out, gets a couple of draft picks for him, and starts the process all over again.
That is unbelievable. And the only guy that's the common denominator, and I could say that, well, if you got a Hall of Fame quarterback, that makes all the difference in the world. But I promise you, Tom Brady has not played one snap on defense.
Well,
that's
good
true.
Point. Yeah,
that's right.
That's a good point.
Not a snap. And he's not a great receiver. He was wide open and dropped the ball. That's the only knock we have on him. Jeff Moore, I'm with you on the turnover. It's been stark. It's been wholesale. It's been everybody but one guy. And this guy that I've said if he wins it next year, the day after the Super Bowl, special Canton Hall of Fame ceremony. Put him in now. Don't wait 5 years. And Stanley Morgan, the old Tennessee Vol, Memphian now, he's still the leading receiver in Patriots history, and he quit playing 20 years before Tom Brady ever got there. Well, he's never had a great wide receiver.
Consider this. When Stanley Morgan was playing, and I don't want to take anything away from Stanley because I love him, and he was a great receiver at every level he played.
Yeah.
But they weren't throwing the ball that much then. That is hard to believe in this era with all the passing that goes on and the numbers that Brady has put up, that he does. There's not a guy that's beaten Stanley Morgan yet.
I can top you. Leading rusher still Sam Bam Cunningham in Patriots history.
No,
that's hard.
Well, I can promise you this: the leading pass thrower
is Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady.
And they don't have Gronk this year, and I to me that's huge because he's kind of.
Do you think that's the whole year?
Well, we'll see. I mean, he may get bored after a few wrestling matches and a lot of the other antics he'll get involved with. But this team is not the same team, I think, without Gronk because he just created problems for defense and defensive backs. And they're not going to have that this year.
But they always find somebody. Seriously. When Gronk wasn't playing and he was injured, they get another guy off injury who comes back, and I thought the key for last year for them was Edelman.
Yeah, Edelman, he's a stud now, and he's consistent. He makes great catches. He runs great routes, and they've got a good running game with Sonny Michel back there. I like that combination. So offensively with Brady, they're going to be formidable. I think the Jets are going to be better. Yeah, I think. Buffalo is going to be better. Miami's going to be – so they're going to be challenged in that division, but I expect them to emerge from there. It's just the other talent in the AFC, I think, is going to be better than the Patriots this year.
Let me ask you about America's team. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott from not too far away is the quarterback, and now who knows about Ezekiel Elliott? Memphis' own Tony Pollard might become a star there. I think he will be a very productive rookie.
I do too.
What do you think will happen with the Cowboys?
So I expect them to win the division. Dak's gotten really a good experience. They won a playoff game. They're implementing a new offense, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of wrinkles they'll have in that. They've got to get Zeke back in camp, but if Zeke's back there, Amari Cooper's proven that he can be a big play guy for them. They've got the Hall of Fame tight end Jason Witten back to contribute, on third downs the way he can, which is a good safety blanket.
Do you think
for Dak.
A year off, and what is he now, 34, 35? Will he
He'll
be
be
able
fine.
to play?
Yeah, he just go
I'm
down
sure
there.
he'll be better than he was at talking in the Monday Night booth.
And the year off will be good for him actually. But he can get the intermediate, the short third down catches. They can depend on him for that. Their defense is young. They really played well last year. So I expect them to win the division, and then we'll have to see after that. I mean, they've got some formidable teams to contend with. The Rams are still, I think, going to be good, and the Saints definitely in that division.
So
conference.
On Sam Bam Cunningham and Stanley Morgan. Sam Bam Cunningham's last year with the Patriots was 1982. And he's still leading rusher.
That's amazing.
Stanley Morgan's last year with the Patriots, 1989, and he's still leading wide receiver. and Tom Brady's done all this. Can you imagine if he had Stanley and Sam Bam?
Wow. Well, think about it. Sometimes you have to look and Sam Bam Cunningham was really a great back.
Yeah.
I mean,
Especially short yardage.
The greatest back in the history of the Bears is a guy that was running in the, I guess, in the 80s and 90s. Walter Payton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
70s, 80s.
70s and 80s, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was Walter Payton.
True.
Right, exactly.
But Sam Bam was, in his day, he was great.
He was, but he was never Walter Payton.
No.
Well, the thing that has distinguished this offense with Tom Brady has been the fact that they pass more to their running backs than to their receivers. And they do a good job of putting their receivers in space to open it up for their running backs. But they've just been very shrewd with the way that they've just nickel and dime defenses, ball possession. Your defense gets tired. They start
Good kicker.
Yeah, and they start to break later in the fourth quarter. And then Tom Brady's been clutch at the end of games.
All right, we've talked about all the great teams. Last thing for Jeff Moore, who will be with us every Tuesday through the Super Bowl. Which team's going to stink? I got one in mind because they're in the division that you called one of the hardest divisions. And if that
Detroit.
division is exactly. Stafford has never lived up to the great billing in my mind, especially in clutch games.
My Giants could be rough.
Your Giants could be rough.
As long as they've got Saquon.
Let me rephrase it. My Mannings could be tough. When he's done, I'm not watching another down of Giants football.
What are you talking about? Daniel Jones, you're not excited?
No.
Saquon is a special back, though. I mean, I think as long as they've got him, they'll be competitive.
But he's got to be thinking about holding out this time next year.
Maybe.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Anybody else that this is going to be a feudal year?
Really, I can't think of anyone at the moment. I kind of focus on the teams that I expect to do well.
Arizona's young.
Arizona's young, but they'll be exciting.
Yeah,
they'll be exciting to watch. Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I mean, Cincinnati will struggle. I mean, they waited too long to make
division.
the change that they made. They just waited way too long, and so they kind of got to build from scratch.
Jeff, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
So good to be here.
25th year.
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, we did sign you to a lifetime contract.
There you go.
So there you go. Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate it.
Take care.
That's our man. I'll let you know he's brought you in part by Soulfish. Did I tell you? They got their other store. It's open now in Wolf Chase. So it started. This is the best. This is the best place to go for catfish. Everybody knows that. Started in Cooper Young, right there on Cooper Avenue. Then they went out to the shops of Forest Hill, Irene. That's Germantown, but right on the Collierville border. Then they opened up in East Memphis. In the meantime, they opened up one in Little Rock, one in Oxford, starting to become an empire. Then they became the best of Memphis in 3 different categories: catfish and seafood and soul food. And their veggies are unbelievable. And now they've opened up this 4th one in the Memphis area at Wolf Chase. Please go and enjoy. Tell them we sent you. And just know, there's been never another restaurant to have won 3 different categories. Same place. Unbelievable. Soul Fish Cafe. Back with a wrap of hour number 2. Man, today is just speeding by on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Free offer contingent on subscription. Pay shipping and handling. Cancel anytime. Message and data rates may apply.
Guys, the secret is out. If you want healthy intimacy, your body needs nitric oxide. And now you can boost your nitric oxide production faster than you thought possible with Ageless Male Tonight. Just take 1 capsule an hour before romantic activity. You'll get clinically tested ingredients that rapidly boost nitric oxide production, and it won't go unnoticed. Ageless Male Tonight has already taken Rite Aid by storm, but you can get started by having 5 free doses delivered to your door. No questionnaires, no online tests. Just call 1-800-461-3012. After a long back order, Ageless Male Tonight is finally back in stock. For your 5 free doses, just call 1-800-461-3012. If results are too intense, please decrease use. 1-800-461-3012. 1-800-461-3012.
Not long ago, I visited a person who fought a raging battle with cancer. I'd seen her gritted teeth stubbornness, had watched her refuse to be emotionally beaten down by this energy-sucking attack on her body. I'd witnessed this beautiful person refusing to be humiliated by this terrible disease that was ravaging her physical appearance. Today, there was something different, though, about her. Subtle but distinctly different. "How are you?" I asked. Immediately she responded, "I'm praying, and I want to pray that Jesus will come soon and deliver me from all this." And we did together. It wasn't a surrender to despair. It was a yielding to certain hope, to certain promises. It was her ultimate commitment. I often think of this person and ponder how I would face my own situations. I've been there, I know. Well, I invite you to be a part of that, to do the same. Our hope is out of this world. I'm Shane Stanford with Christ Church Memphis.
Visit ChristChurchMemphis.org.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
67129 at the First Bank text line, 360-8255 at the First Bank phone line. And First Bank, they know what you need. You need a reliable, trustworthy Memphis banker that can give you an answer, that they make the decisions right here in Memphis for you, about you, right here in Memphis. A direct answer from the First Bank banker you're dealing with. Visit firstbankonline.com. That's firstbankonline.com. First Bank with stories and a record of customers reaching high. Community banks are the preferred lender of people building a success story. Build your success story with First Bank. Visit firstbankonline.com.
The Tigers are in the Bahamas today. They are bonding on the beach. We were talking about how the
great trip.
Football team is bonding.
That's the difference between playing football and playing basketball.
Yeah. They're one team's going to do it in Jackson, Tennessee, and the other right now is in Nassau
at the Grand Hotel.
They apparently walked out onto Cable Beach's sand today, past cabanas and pools, and there was a taco truck, and Boogie Ellis said he was reminded of home.
You know anything about these opponents?
No,
I don't either.
I don't even know the Bahama national team, except this. DeAndre Ayton was invited to play and apparently declined.
He would have helped. He would have had a starting position.
He would have.
Do we take anything from these scores, margin of victory, or we just
I don't know.
Just run time,
I mean, I really feel bad for Precious Achiuwa, but I think it's smart. You're not going to take a chance on him not getting back.
No.
There was a Grizzly guy. Who was he didn't go to Toronto. Or he went to Toronto and couldn't get back. You remember that?
It was Valanciunas.
Was it Valanciunas?
It was Giannis.
After
it was
the whole deal.
Valanciunas? Yeah.
Had to get a work visa.
I mean,
they were really concerned for a few years with Hamed Haddadi.
Yeah.
When he was here.
No doubt. But this is a great trip for them, and I think, Penny was really smart about doing it. He could have done it with last year's team. You can only do it once every 4 years, and frankly, there was a trip planned by Tubby to go to Canada, and Penny declined that because he knew he can only do it once every 4 years. And I have had a bunch of people who have said to me, what? You're not going? You guys are not doing the games? And in retrospect, probably we should have done the games. Learfield should have put it all together. We probably should have done these games. No matter how good the competition is going to be, there's enough people interested, and that's what that's what really should drive it. So, and I know there's a bunch of people disappointed. So I share it with you, but we'll know better next time. In 4 years, I bet you we put something together for it, because you can only do it again once every 4 years. Back to the National Football League in a minute. Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com, the man on the shield.
So you're not picking the Patriots. You didn't even need that as a rule.
No, I'm not picking the Patriots.
I don't think I did last year, did I? No, I know I didn't. I picked Rams over Chargers.
Yeah, I picked Rams.
I had all LA Super Bowl.
I don't think I can pick the Chargers either.
I'm not.
The Chargers,
I think the shelf life
they
is
always
expired.
sort of entice you, and you think this is it. Finally,
I
Rivers
do like
is gonna
Anthony
do
Lynn
it.
as coach, though.
I like Phillip Rivers.
I do too.
You know, Phillip Rivers was almost a Tiger.
Sure was.
Do you know that story? Rip Shearer.
He was almost a tight end at Alabama for Mike Dubose.
Knew the family, and there was a package deal. Phillip wanted his high school receiver to come, and Rip said, we don't do packages for anybody.
I would have brought the family dog to get Phillip Rivers.
So I'm telling you could have had Phillip Rivers. It was a mistake by Rip. We take the break. Back in just a minute. I'll let you know that it is Jeff Moore next on Sportstime with
Bo Marchant next.
Bo Marchant. He's next with Wolo and Stats.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so, too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2019 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
When the sand gets hot, you gotta move fast, like a dog chasing a Frisbee. Move just as fast to the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event. Because for the first time ever, you can get 20% estimated savings on select Ford vehicles. Plus, earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards. Don't let this hot deal on America's best-selling brand pass you by. Get into the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event. Based on 2010 through 2018 calendar year sales. Modem must be activated within 60 days of purchase through the Ford Pass app on a smartphone and remain active for at least 6 months after activation. Eligible on select 2019 model year vehicles. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Estimated savings include an average dealer discount based on a sales survey of average discounts offered by Ford dealers nationally. Discount may vary. Dealer determines price. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 9/3/19. See participating dealer for complete details.
First Bank is here to help you, whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car, or wanting a competitive rate on your CD deposits. Let First Bank try to handle your banking needs. Stop into one of First Bank's 3 local branches today, 6482 Poplar Avenue just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or check them out online at firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Campbell Clinic now offers daytime walk-in care, and you don't need an appointment. If you've got any kind of urgent break, sprain, strain, you can walk into any of their 5 convenient locations Monday through Friday from 8 until 4. There's no long wait you have to put up with the ER, and those doctors are really good, but they're not orthopedists. They're not world-renowned orthopedists who have come up with different procedures and written the manuals for them that are used everywhere in the world. And I'm not kidding you. And you can now see those doctors who treat the Tigers, the Grizzlies, the Redbirds. You can see them today without an appointment. And I'm talking Collierville, Germantown, South Haven, downtown at the Med Center, or even the Campbell Clinic Spine Center in Cordova. Now, if you've got something pressing, you got to go to work and you can bear the pain until the evening, there's Campbell Clinic After Hours. That's Monday through Thursday from 5 to 8 in Germantown, South Haven, even Saturday morning in Germantown. If you're injured, don't wait. Visit Campbell Clinic Walk-In Care or Campbell Clinic After Hours.
If you're an outdoorsman and love all things hunting and fishing, be sure to listen to Sports 56 Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. for Outdoors Today. Brought to you by the Gun Store, 6920 Winchester in Memphis. Outdoors Today is a 1-hour show hosted by veteran Mark Tobin and a group of respected outdoor-loving guests. Outdoors Today is dedicated to bringing outdoorsmen tips and techniques and tactics to help with your hunting and fishing in all seasons. Saturday mornings at 6 on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1 FM.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
We talk the National Football League with Bo Marchant from College to Pro next after I tell you about DeSoto Auto Sales. Mr. Announcer Man said it. They bring you this hour every day, and we so appreciate it. At DeSoto Auto Sales, they specialize in late model cars with low mileage, very high standards, all the cars test-driven, all checked out head to toe, bumper to bumper, all points in between, and they have an unlimited inventory. If by chance they don't have it, they'll go out and find it for you. I think about every make, every model, but if it's not on the lot, they will find it for you. At DeSoto Auto Sales, no shortcuts taken there. You walk in, you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid back, down-home environment at DeSoto Auto Sales, but they do make this promise to you. They want you to have the ultimate car experience, and they know how important time is for everybody right now in this world we're living in. They want you to walk in, pick out your car, test drive it, get credit approved, and be done hassle-free in about 45 minutes. We're living in a world today that time matters. They know it at DeSoto Auto Sales. Go online and check out the referrals at DeSotoAutoSales.com, 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
As promised, from collegetopro.com, our guy on the Shield, Bo Marchant, joins us now. And let's start with the Dallas Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott. And I bring that up because we have an ulterior motive here. We've got a former Tiger named Tony Pollard, who now is your starting tailback behind Dak Prescott in Dallas. What's going to happen with Mr. Zeke?
I think at the end of the day, Zeke's going to come in. I also think that the Cowboys deservedly so have to pay him. He's led the league in rushing 2 out of the last 3 seasons. He's their bell cow workhorse. I just think the market. I think both sides understand the market for running backs isn't the most profitable compared to some other positions. But again, I think, Jerry Jones isn't getting any younger. This is a window of opportunity again for this team to kind of maybe strike a Super Bowl run. And I don't think that's possible with, Pollard and Darius Jackson and Mark Weber and, the handful of running backs absent of Zeke Elliott. So I think at the end of the day, these guys arrive.
But the Pollard thing is intriguing. I think he is being well received in Dallas. Am I right?
By Jerry Jones.
He is, but I think that also is the leverage thing. If you're going to hear these guys kind of promote the guys that are already in house. We see the same thing with Melvin Gordon, and then they have a little bit more of a proven commodity in Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson in Los Angeles, I should say. In Dallas it's a little bit different. Pollard's a rookie. I think obviously you're going to, encourage him and talk positive about him. But, behind closed doors, I think internally, what your best route is to be successful. And, absent of not having Zeke Elliott there, I don't think the Dallas Cowboys offense is going to be at a maximum. So, the early part of their schedule, it's kind of not the strongest. I think they got, New York, Washington, I think the Dolphins. So I think those are manageable games. But I think after that, you kind of start really getting into the heart of their schedule. So even if this contract holdout would extend into the season, I think, the Cowboys are going to be in a I think you would kind of see both sides maybe making amends at least before, Dallas gets into the really meat and bones of the schedule as they, again, kind of, I think, look for a run here. And, with the nucleus that they're trying to keep intact with contract issues with Amari Cooper, Dak Prescott, and Zeke.
Yeah, Jerry Jones wants another Lombardi trophy so bad. In Sporting News, very reputable outfit, they picked the Cowboys to win Super Bowl 54 over Kansas City. And I don't know how many more years, Jerry Jones can feel like he is this close. You mentioned 76. He wants it now. But so if the Cowboys fold, if Zeke Elliott wins, I saw LaDainian Tomlinson on the NFL Network early this morning, and he was talking about this time next year, Saquon Barkley is going to be the next running back to want to hold out, and he will win. Le'Veon Bell, he kind of mostly won last year. But what we're getting into with the running back position is basically a year or two, maybe three, into immediate free agency. What that contract you signed means nothing on the team end.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll do something in the new CBA where these guys have a little bit more leverage. The guys really that exceed their rookie contracts, and I don't know how they'll propose that in terms of games played or, numbers produced. I mean, because we can't say statistically, how you can compare a tackle compared to another tackle. But, in terms of what Zeke means to that offense, I mean, he led the team in receptions, he led the league in rushing. He is their workhorse. And I think admittedly so, he wants more money. When you look at the landscape of the NFL, though, it's just not the way. And the Rams kind of jumped the gun, I think, with the Todd Gurley deal. I'm sure there's buyer's remorse with giving him that type of contract, especially considering they had to invest, a third-round pick in another Memphis guy, and Darrell Henderson. So, I don't think the money's going to be had for these guys. They're going to get a pay raise. Dallas may elect to give Zeke Elliott a little bit more than what Gurley makes, because Gurley has that real high contract. But in terms of what Melvin Gordon's going to receive, I don't think he's going to get that, super mega payday that he might be anticipating. And again, Le'Veon Bell was a franchise guy. They were putting another tag on him. So he had different, options. And again, he was going to hit free agency free, basically. And these guys don't have that option. So I don't really see at the end of the day how you're going to say, hey, I'm going to hold out, and then I'm going to hold out again, because they're not accumulating any tenure by doing this. They're just kind of prolonging the agony.
The Cowboys could franchise tag him the next 3 years if they wanted to.
Yeah, and again, I don't think they will. I think this all gets done. I don't think if Le'Veon Bell really would have pushed the issue like he did last season, that we'd be maybe considering their holdouts so seriously, and you're always going to stick to your guns. Their side's going to say, hey, he's in Cabo having fun and he's not coming. Just don't count on it. He's not coming. Same thing with Gordon. And then, on the Dallas side, they're going to promote the guys that are there working every day, saying, hey, we love this group, and, we're not going to miss a beat. These guys can pick up the slack as a team unit, and, we're going to be on our merry way. But at the end of the day, there's a reason why these guys are in the positions they are, to say, hey, I am not coming to camp. I am going to Cabo. I do want to be the highest paid at the position, because they're game changers. And, it's at all positions, and, it's not going to be the first time. But I guess it does take away a little bit of the fun of the preseason, because there's a lot of talk. You could talk about a lot funner things, but at the end of the day, I mean, those are the things that we gravitate to is, are these guys going to arrive in camp, and are they going to get paid? And then is that hangover from how long they're gone, is that going to affect their play once the season starts? I mean, we saw with Le'Veon Bell 2 years ago. I mean, it took him about 4 or 5 games to really kind of get into a routine where you kind of saw that guy that's a Pro Bowl running back. Absent of that, he just looked like a mediocre running back trying to find his way and get back into game shape. And these guys can work out, and they can pay all the money. And I know a lot of these trainers, they do, but and coaches preach it. There's nothing like being in camp every day doing that with your teammates. So I think that's what these guys miss.
If we talked about the economics of the game, I don't blame Ezekiel Elliott, not for 1 second.
Not a second.
So all you got to do is look at the longevity of that position. We already know that position has been devalued in terms of the draft. And we know that it's about 3 years or less that a running back lasts because of the injury quotient that is involved in that position. If I'm a productive superstar back, and I've already proved that, and ownership knows it, that's where I go. I've got to make my money now, because I'm literally one play away from losing the speed or whatever edge I've got. I really, and when they do this CBA, I do think They should have more flexibility on certain positions because each position is unique to this game with such an injury threat.
I'm with you on everything you said. Yeah. Bo, I think you share it. And the public is definitely where we are. Now, how about this? Where's the remedy for the owner of, all right, I draft you out of college. Where's the remedy if, when we hear the term overperform the rookie contract, where's my remedy? Where's my money back if you don't get close to living up to it?
I mean, they can't cut them. I mean, that's the one thing. I mean, the team has at least that option where they can't trade or said, hey, you know what, you didn't show up for work today and we don't like what your effort is, and they can move on. It's a little bit harsh saying a guy, could lose his paycheck, but I think that's the only option. I mean, it's easy to look at performance, I guess, bonuses compared to, taking money off a guy, which we know would never happen. I mean, those guys would end up just
Zeke
holding
took all
out.
that bonus money last year. The Cowboys could be legitimately, legally within their boundary right now of taking money back from him, seizing money back. Now, they would get crushed PR-wise.
How would they legally go about doing that?
It's in the terms that if you didn't show this year, you owe us that money back.
What if that money is spent?
Well,
but that goes into a lot of contracts. We see a lot of guys in that same predicament. But, you want to have the good faith. We want to keep these guys happy. So you just kind of, teams can find guys for each day they miss camp, but very seldom is that ever enforced because, again, when you want to try to bring a guy back and get the best deal done, taking more money away from him or finding that's not going to be the revenue.
Look at when the commissioner's making $43 million and treats a Gulf Stream treats a private airfare like we do Uber, and when the owners are trying to figure up a way to split $9 billion, the public's not going to be with them on any contract holdouts, and just not at all.
I think the big thing for Zeke and his party is, look at DeMarco Murray. I mean, they basically ran the wheels off that kid, and and then they just basically said, okay, go off to Philadelphia.
Yeah,
and
good luck.
So I think a little bit of the numbers prove it. I mean, look at the amount of production and touches that he's got in that Cowboys offense. So I think it's a legit argument saying, hey, you guys are going to run me into the ground, and then when I'm washed up looking for that big payday on my second contract, where are you guys going to be? You're going to jettison me off and move up again to the fourth pick of the draft and take another running back. So
and they
that's
see
no
the
win-win
other
for him.
sports. The football guys, they see the fashionable lives of Mike Trout and LeBron James, and they're thinking, I'm playing this sport and I get this little money and they get that, and it's all guaranteed for those. But at CBA time, that's when the player, they're going to have to stand up for themselves.
Well, yeah, it's also the reality that one team's got 13 guys and the other's got 50.
That's right.
It's a big difference, and as much money as they make, again, when you're spreading that out to so many guys, and now we're quarterbacks basically, and you figure Patrick Mahomes will probably be the first $40 million player in the National Football League, and those prices aren't going to come down. And imagine, I know salary caps and caps, per team, those are going to go up, but that big chunk what you're going to have to invest into a star quarterback,
they can afford
to diminish all the profits for everybody else.
They can't afford it because that TV money is not going down. That ticket is not going down that I've seen, except maybe in the end zone.
$4 water's going to $8.
Yeah. So let me ask you a little bit about Antonio Brown, who showed up to camp today after a couple of weeks. Some of that was probably because of the frostbite in his legs from the cryotherapy thing, which is wild. But the helmet issue, which is a big deal because the National Football League is actually trying to protect these guys.
Oh, with the best scientists on earth examining it.
And I do wonder why they couldn't get a sort of the helmet or the type of helmet that Antonio Brown. I actually heard Tom Brady complain on radio about that. I won 4 Super Bowls with this thing, but they tell me I got to. But why can't they take the safety features and put it in those older type of helmets? That's the one place I don't quite understand. But what ends up happening? Is this going to be a bargaining chip in the CBA, or will the NFL just say, look, we've got to save you from yourself?
I think that's exactly what your last words were, is they have to save them from themselves. And now I'm going to give Antonio, as crazy as it is that, he went through all the, the loopholes, and, he said he was going to retire and he doesn't, blah, 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 which we pretty much knew that was never going to happen. But at the end of the day, he did get himself another year in the helmet of his choice. So I guess fighting did get him what he wanted for another year. So I mean, I applaud him in that. He wanted this pretty bad, and him not saying, okay, you know what, this is what the Shield said. And very rarely does the Shield give in. They allowed him to do this, but at the end of the day, it's an inevitable thing where he's going to have to kind of progress and move on with the benefits of protecting the players. I guess the only argument I would have on the side of Antonio Brown is there's lots of times medicines come out and other things, and I'm no doctor, and I don't know how safe these helmets are compared to the ones from 7 years ago. But who's to say that maybe the helmets today end up not being the helmet that they thought they were, and it causes and the only reason I say that is I remember I think last week I watched for the first time with Matthew McConaughey the Dallas Buyers Club, where it was HIV medicines that were being, distributed by the doctors in the hospitals that actually were making the patients worse. And who knows, maybe these helmets could be worse in the long run.
They could be.
We don't know that. Today the science says, hey, this helmet is better than helmet, A, helmet B is better. But, we could learn 30 years from now that helmet A was actually the better helmet. So it's one of those tricky things. But at the end of the day, I think this will be the last year Antonio can try to battle this next training camp and see where he gets it. But I think that, the NFL said, hey, we're going to give you this 1 year leniency. And next year, if you don't have your new helmet in place, you're not going to play. And if you're going to turn down $18 million, which we know he's not, then, you're going to find a new helmet. So he'll play in this helmet this year. And then next year, I think he'll don a new helmet, and hopefully that protects him and gives him as much confidence and, I guess in terms of well-being on the field and physically and mentally as the one he wears now.
The team you cover, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I thought James Washington was going to be better than that last year in his rookie year out of Oklahoma State. Just a dynamite college player. They all are, though. I think he will have a good sophomore year, second year in the NFL. But Juju Smith-Schuster, he has to handle the big offensive passing load left behind by Antonio Brown. I think Dante Moncrief will help. They've got to kind of do it by committee after Smith-Schuster, don't they? And maybe including Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit different, I think, in terms of what Ben's going to do offensively, pushing the ball downfield. James Washington looked great the other night, a couple big acrobatic catches. They were just nice catches. They weren't, so much, he just got open. He kind of had to contort to the ball and haul it in. Juju has been successful with Antonio Brown, and that's going to be, his, claim to fame if he can be that same receiver without number 84 on the opposite side. But I agree with you 100%. I think James Washington has all the intangibles to become a very, very solid receiver. Maybe not a number one, but I think he can be heck of a number two and maybe even get a little better than that. I'd put him right on par with maybe somebody like a Sterling Shepard from the New York Giants. Maybe he's not on that same level as an Odell Beckham and Antonio Brown, but he can definitely be a guy that can cause fits and be that guy in the go-to. And I think that's, at the end of the day, Ben or any other quarterback throwing to these guys is, it's just a trust factor. And I was actually doing the piece that I did over the weekend on the Steelers. I was going back through my audio from the very last game of the year. And, that was a game where Brown, they benched Brown and Ben talked about a play that they ran in Denver that Washington missed the catch. He fouled the play up and Ben said that when he went to the sidelines, he said, where do you want the ball to go to? And this was their last game of the season. He said, I wanted to go to James because he felt confident that, Washington could make the play. And he did. So I think, building that confidence with your quarterback, and that goes with any team, goes a long way. And if Ben has that confidence, these guys are going to catch the ball that he throws. They shouldn't miss a beat. Are you going to get, Antonio Brown numbers from, I think, Juju or James Washington? No. But at the end of the day, I think they're going to be able to move the chains with this team.
He is Bo Marchant, collegetopro.com. And
start working on those predictions.
What's your favorite game this exhibition weekend?
Oh, you know what? I guess it's going to probably be the one I'm going to go to with the Chiefs and the Steelers. I mean, who doesn't want to see a little bit of Patrick Mahomes throw?
That could be an AFC Championship game preview.
Yeah. So, I guess. I'm not going to lie. I haven't really looked at the landscape of what's going on everywhere, but I know when I saw that the Chiefs were coming to Heinz Field during the preseason, I thought, well, that's going to be a pretty solid game to watch. I mean, Kelsey and Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and, Carlos Hyde's a new addition. So, it should be fun and a little bit more of we didn't see Ben last week. We'll probably see a little bit of Ben this week, and kind of see these starters get underway a little bit.
Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Have a great week, Jay.
You got it.
Bo Marchant, collegetopro.com, brought to you in part by Conway. Conway services heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, of course, the tankless water heaters. And we know it from Conway. The timing's not always right to replace your air conditioning system, but we know when it's really hot like this, you got to have it. And that's why financing options are available right now during these dog days of summer. Get your new air conditioning system for as low as $99 a month. And this is not any air conditioning system. This is a Carrier. You get a Carrier, you know it will perform. So you can afford $99 a month, and that's as low as it gets, and that's what you can get through Conway, a new Carrier for $99 a month. Plus, you get a 10-year parts warranty, new free Nest thermostat, and Conway's always going to give you the award-winning service every time. Call Conway, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service, 384-3511, 384-3511, and get a Carrier for as low as $99 a month.
Give me the Dave prediction. I don't think it's this time next year. I think the CBA, the real lockout strike, would be 2 years from now, summer, August of 21. They don't let it get to that point, do they? Don't miss a game, do you?
I can't imagine that there's too much money everybody's making. I really can't.
Now, the Players Association, they're telling people to bank and save up money, start spending now like you're already locked out or on strike.
Here's the thing that worries me is I've seen new contracts with language in it for a strike. So that tells you.
Which way? Language to protect the owner?
Yes. Like an owner hiring a coach. In there is language for strikes.
So you don't get paid.
Correct. Or
you have to play despite everybody else.
There is a percentage that you don't make.
Remember in the 87 strike, even with replacement players, there were some guys like Tony Dorsett. His contract, he had to play no matter what. He could not go on strike. I don't know how they got, but
I don't remember him taking the field.
Oh yeah, he did, and had to play behind that offensive line, and the effort was lacking.
I really don't remember that. He played with the replacement players?
There were a couple of Cowboys that had to play because I want to say their contract might have been what they regarded as personal services, and they could not strike. They had to be out there, and they were out there.
Well, it worries me that there is language in new contracts for management people in place. So they are posturing, and that possibility is there. But when your television money is what it is, when your TV ratings are what they are, when your salaries are pretty darn good with the exception of total guarantee, I just don't know how you wouldn't keep it going.
And what always, I won't say breaks the union, but breaks the solidarity is at some point that locker room, enough of a majority to go to that player rep and go, get this settled. I need my money. I want my money. I just have so much time to do this. I'm going to go on strike now to help the guy in 5 years. I might not be here in 5 years. To heck with him. He can worry about himself.
Well, but the bottom line is in the era of the replacement players and that strike, the money wasn't what it is now for players.
No, it wasn't. Our owner's revenue, but it was good.
It was good, but it was not as good as it is now for players.
It wasn't just pure filthy like it is now.
No,
and I don't think would you ever have a appetite for replacement players? I mean, the San Francisco 49ers out there in uniform, but that's not the 49ers.
No,
because the public.
I don't even think they would do that again.
I don't think you could.
I think they would just say,
could they maybe try it one more time for a game or two?
I think they would just say we're not doing it.
With Bill Walsh running the triple option with the 49ers, with Joe Gibbs and his replacement team winning enough games that made a difference come playoff time and gave them home field advantage. And I think either last year or 2 years ago, they finally welcomed back those, air quotes here, scab players and gave them Super Bowl rings. All these years later.
It was weird.
Oh, it was bad football.
Oh, yeah.
And it ruined fantasy football. Fantasy football had an impact on getting that resolved then.
Maybe. I know this much. It's bigger, and it survived, and it's bigger and better than ever. But you're right. It could have been part of the impetus that drove the league to try to get it done. But the league knew it had to get it done. It knew. We got to take a break. When we come back, the head honcho, the big cheese of the AutoZone Libertyville, who was also, by the way, at the Laird Veach press conference. We'll chat with him a little bit about that and the bowl business and what he's expecting from college football. He's next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
When the sand gets hot, you gotta move fast, like a dog chasing a Frisbee. Move just as fast to the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event. Because for the first time ever, you can get 20% estimated savings on select Ford vehicles. Plus, earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards. Don't let this hot deal on America's best-selling brand pass you by. Get into the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event. Based on 2010 through 2018 calendar year sales, Moda must be activated within 60 days of purchase through the Ford Pass app on a smartphone and remain active for at least 6 months after activation. Eligible on select 2019 model year vehicles. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Estimated savings include an average dealer discount based on a sales survey of average discounts offered by Ford dealers nationally. Discount may vary. Dealer determines price. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 9/3/19. See participating dealer for complete details.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Gun enthusiasts in the Mid-South know all about guns and ammo at 3615 Summer and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven, because they carry the largest selection of both guns and ammo in the area. They are authorized dealers of Colt, Benelli, CZ, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Ruger, Sig Sauer, Vergara, and a lot more. If you or someone you know is looking for something for self-defense, competition, hunting, or just something that goes boom, then get to Guns and Ammo, 3615 Summer in Memphis and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Here once again
are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back into the Family Leisure Studios. You got Wolo and Stats on a scorcher. Although they were saying this cold front's supposed to be moving in about right now. When I walk out of here in about a half hour, I'm expecting lower humidity, Brett Norsworthy.
You'll have it.
I hope so. In the meantime, it was cooking inside the Lori Walton practice facility today. Steve Earhart, who joins us in this time slot to talk the business of college football and the Bowls. He was on hand there as well when we all met Laird Veach. I know you had a sort of a relationship with him already, Steve, because you had his team, Kansas State, at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl just a couple of years ago. Give me your impressions of today. Good afternoon.
Oh, that's right, Dave. It was a really nice ceremony, and Dr. Rudd and Alan Graff, their board of trustees, presented him to the crowd there, and good questions, but he made a great impression. And as you said, we had a great experience with Laird a few years back when Kansas State was here at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. He was a senior associate director there at Kansas State University, and he handled that great group that came down there. He had his wife and 4 kids with him, and they went to the President's Gala at the Peabody. But what was most impressive is he had organized that group of 7,000 Kansas State fans who rented out AutoZone Park for that 11 o'clock in the morning prep rally. Then they all marched en masse over to Beale Street and stayed out to Beale Street until past midnight. And again, they sold out every can of beer on Beale Street. But Laird had organized that. So, yeah, we had a great experience with him when he was here with the Wildcats a few years ago. A top guy, and I think he's got the great credentials, the great attitude, and I think it's going to be a marriage made in heaven for the University of Memphis.
And Steve, it's always fun to see a guy that you see come up through the system, and they all have to do that now. Very rarely now is it the old football coach or the old basketball or baseball star that just gets thrust into that position. Most of the modern ADs, they start in the ticket office, they start in maybe sports information even, like Scott Strickland. They start in the broadcast wing like Laird Veach did at Mizzou with Learfield at Mizzou, and they work their way up. It's fun to see them when they get their break.
You hit it right on the head, Stats. It's the new model, and certainly Laird that fits that 100%. You know, he started out as an intern at the University of Texas after he, graduated from Kansas State. By the way, he was, I think, an academic all-conference linebacker, captain of the team his senior year at Kansas State, playing for Bill Snyder, and then he's been at just about every stop there to get the pedigree, so to speak. You know, he was at Texas, and then at Missouri was with Mike Alden, who Mike's a great friend of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and then at Iowa State for a spell. Kansas State, he was there the longest period of time, and rose up and actually was the interim athletic director after John Curry left there, and John Curry certainly helped him in his in his growth and was a great mentor, as Laird said today. And then, of course, going down to Florida with this Scott Strickland, who Scott grew up the same way, as you know, at Mississippi State and then down to Florida. So, yeah, he's paid his dues. I think he's played at the big-time level, not only as a student-athlete, but as an administrator, and that's exactly what Memphis needs right now, is that experience and competing with, as we call the Autonomy 5, and it says Laird himself said the Power 6 now that Memphis is in Power 6 Conference, the American. So, yeah, he's really he's paid his dues, and I think he'll be perfect.
You think about this for a second. At Kansas State in Manhattan, at one time, they had Curry, they had Laird Veach, and they had Clint Dowdle, who's now working for Jimmy Sexton.
Yeah, that was their power structure when we did the deal for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl with Kansas State. It was Laird and Clint, who people know him, his dad, Dowdle Sporting Goods here, and Clint.
Clint played college basketball, I believe, at CBU, and now he's back working for Jimmy. He's a Memphian.
Yeah, and that's right. And Clint was, he was kind of he and Laird were kind of the two right-hand guys with Kansas State at the time, and then of course Jimmy elected to go, to the private sector, and Clint is very high on Laird and speaks very highly of him because, as I say, they worked hand in hand together. And at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, the two of them basically put things together. Of course, John Curry was the boss, but they were all here with their families and all had a great experience. And it was very interesting to watch because Bill Snyder, was the dean of all coaches at the time, and so we had a great matchup there with Kansas State and Arkansas.
You sure did. And my first year at Ole Miss, 2008. Steve, Pete Boone's top 3 lieutenants were Danny White, now the AD at UCF, Alan Green, now the AD at Auburn, and John Hartwell, now the AD at Utah State. And John's on his way back to the SEC or this part of the country someday, some way.
Wow, that's interesting. Of course, you got that photographic memory, but that you hit it right on the head. These kind of ADs who are great mentors. Mitch Barnhart over there at Kentucky is the same way. He's got a whole bunch of alumni out there that are ADs, and so it's really gratifying to see these young guys, and women too, work their way up, get the experience, and then step into the seat. But you're right; it's a whole different job these days. It's not just the old coach, managing program, because there's so much there, and there's so much more money. Whether it's you have to fundraise so much, and I think Laird understands that he's really got to get out there and embrace the community, and I think he's proven that he's done that. He's worked for Learfield Sports as well, so he's got that business background too of getting out there and hustling sponsorships and partnerships and that kind of thing. So I think all the Memphis fans can look forward to meeting him, and he'll be knocking on your door. I guarantee that. He's a very energetic young guy.
He said two things that really struck me that were just beyond only the sports on the field. And that was how a community is tied to a school and how it's a bonding agent, how it brings people together. And then the other was when he was asked about vision, because he had said next level, and Dr. Rudd on this station had said, well, he's the guy to bring us to the next level. What does the next level look like? And Dr. Rudd was asked that question, and he said, well, I paid this guy to tell us that vision. He's going to come up with the vision. And he said, candidly, he's been fortunate to be at 4 major schools, but that each school is unique, and until he really talks with everybody, there would be no way he could come up with a finite plan, that he has to really learn before he can plan. And I thought that was the perfect answer.
And Dave, you're exactly right. That was very thoughtful, and there's no question that Memphis is a unique city. It's got its own great points, and it's got its own struggles, but you've got to listen to the vibe and immerse in it and understand, what makes it work here. And it reminded me of one of my great mentors was Danny Thomas, and Danny said something very similar. Said, if you want to have a connection with your community, you can do it through 2 ways. You can connect with the American public and in your community through entertainment and through sports, and that's how he built St. Jude. Through his entertainment buddies, reaching the public, and through sports. And just what we see now with the great tournament last week, the St. Jude, the golf tournament, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and all the ways that sports connects with the community. And that was his point there, that the athletics endeavor at the University of Memphis, the mission of the athletic department, not only for the benefit and welfare of a number of student athletes, but to connect with the community and connect with the mission of the overall university. So, Dave, you're exactly right. I don't think he's going to come in here and say, we're going to do it this way, and we're going to do this, and fire this kind of person and all that. I think he's going to come in and be a great listener. I know he's going to get out and visit with so many people, so a lot of your listeners out there, make sure you get your thoughts into him, because I think he'll synthesize all those thoughts and then come up with a really nice vision for the future of the University of Memphis.
We're talking with Steve Earhart, Big Cheese, head honcho of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. We do every week all the way through the college football playoffs and the bowls. And this you got to explain this to me. I've seen at a couple of forecasting bowl projection places where they have Memphis in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Now, if Memphis were to win out, they would go to the Cotton Bowl, is the way I view it, a New Year's Day 6 Bowl. How could they end up this year in your bowl game?
Well, it's interesting, and I've noticed some of those too. Of course, it used to be only a few projectionists were out there, but now everybody and his brother is putting projection out there. Some are which very accurate. I saw one the other day that I kind of liked was Tennessee versus Texas Tech, but they're all over the place. We've had about 6 different SEC teams and 3 or 4 different Big 12 teams, and then the American is also involved. And I guess the best way to answer that question, Dave, is what happened 2 years ago when Memphis did not win the spot there to go to or what we call the New Year Six, when they lost was it overtime to UCF?
Yes.
So UCF went, and then Memphis then came to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and that could happen this year because of what happened with the University of Missouri. It was a surprise there because of that one tutor that was off the limits there up in Missouri, and so the NCAA has put them on probation, and they're going to be a pretty darn good team. People who saw them in the Autos and Liberty Bowl last year know that they've got a lot of talented players and a couple of good ones from Memphis here. But so if they knock off some of the other teams in the SEC, and then they're not eligible, then we could be reaching back into the American Conference for a team much like we did 2 years ago when University of Memphis played Iowa State from the Big 12. So that's where that particular projectionist got that prognostication, if I use those big words. So
I know this is an impossible projection for you, but you're pretty darn wired in. Do you think Missouri has any chance of winning that appeal with the NCAA?
You know, I've asked them about that. They're very bullish about it. They think they should win because it was just one individual there who was, this tutor who was doing bad things, tried to sell her story to the New York Post or something like that for $100,000, and then she got upset when they wouldn't buy it, and so she turned them in. Now, she was writing some papers for student athletes. There's no question about that. But to penalize the entire university for one person's, it's not like it was endemic in the university or the university, was doing bad things. It was one person who did some bad things. So they think that the punishment far outweighs what they did. But so far, they thought they would have a decision by the end of the summer, and we sure hope they'll get that go sign from the appeals committee. But I've never known to rely on the NCAA for relief.
No, Steve, they think they're going to get relief. I think they're going to get relief. Sounds like you think they're going to get relief. Everybody thinks they're going to get a relief from the NCAA until the NCAA says relief denied. Next case.
Yeah, that's you hit it right on the head, Stat. So that's the way that it could be, and we're very happy and pleased that we have this three-way kind of arrangement, so that it's still the power conferences still control, ESPN still controls, but we'd love to have another shot at a good team coming out of the American, and whether it's the University of Memphis, they had a great game, and I still talking to people like Anthony Miller the other day, the great Memphis receiver who's playing for the Bears now. He said the best experience he ever had there as a collegiate player was playing in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, playing here kind of in the home city in the bowl game there against Iowa State. So I think it would be terrific to get in, but if it, we'll just have to see how it plays out. And the season starts, in 11 days or something like that here. So it's sneaking up on us, and we're looking forward to, watching carefully as these teams fight it out on the field.
If Miller had not gotten hurt at the end of that game, that Memphis would have beaten Iowa State. There's no doubt in my mind.
And even remember Henderson was hurt, didn't play at all. So, the Tigers had a great year that year, and I'm looking forward to having another great year, and a lot of respect for Coach Mike Norvell and what they're doing. And today he mentioned to me, he said, I've never had team speed like this. Now, they lost a couple of burners, with the two, Pollard and Henderson, but he said that defense especially is showing speed all across the field and in depth as well. So if that defense can pursue and make some big plays for them, I think, the university's got a great outlook for this season.
Thank you, Steve. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Getting closer and closer, that is for sure. And this portion of the show is brought to you by Matt Eflin and Eflin's Insurance Group. And there's several different offices, but it's all homegrown. It's all within the market. And they've got a different approach at Eflin Insurance Group. It's one-on-one. They want to evaluate each individual's insurance needs. Then they set it all up for you. This is over 20 years of insurance experience, all within the local market. And Matt Eflin specializes in all types of insurance needs, personal or business. His allegiance, by the way, is all Tigers. He loves Memphis, proud supporters of the U of M. And again, if you've got something that you're, a little unique and you're not sure about, he'll give you the personal quote and the personalized service. All you got to do is remember this number, 757-2315, 757-2315. His approach is unique, and it works. 20 years and several offices. Matt Eflin with the Eflin Insurance Group.
For the Tigers to return to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl just 2 years after being there, and for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, I would guess both would probably like to do something different. But I like the safety net of that in the language.
I think it's great. Yes.
I don't know how often would be too often, but I like that it's there.
Well, I like the fact that it's included for the conference, that it's included in. I'd love for Memphis to play in it. when you look at the bowls. Now, I am interested in the new bowl game in Fenway Park, just because I think that would be so unique to go play in Fenway Park. But
we can remember when the Fiesta Bowl was basically invented to accommodate Arizona State.
Right.
And then they grew from that. The Autos and Liberty Bowl was historically averse to the hometown team because it's a little contrary to why you have a bowl, to bring people in.
Bud Dudley used to say, I got to have people from out of town to come fill the Peabody and the Hilton.
And go out, not go back to their house.
Right.
But I think occasionally, and it was great 2 years ago.
Oh, there's no doubt that was a smashing success, and Beale Street still had, they had Iowa State here, but then they had all these Memphians down there for the parade.
I think we take Iowa State
everything
every year.
else. So Iowa State loves their Bulls. That is for sure.
And the nicest darn people you ever met.
They are.
And great basketball fans when you're around them off at NCAA tournaments, and really good sports fans.
They are.
Really, and good folk.
And sportsmen.
Mm-hmm.
They have a sense of fairness about them. I agree. I agree totally with you. We got to take a break. When we come back, we will give you crunch time and a whole lot more. Still one more to come on this blistering Tuesday on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Limb Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Limb Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselimbembrace.com.
Dedicated our life to yours. Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, then we hit fame. Too busy with the deal, we get insane. Hey, I heard you were a wild one. Took you home and be a warrior. Show me how you do.
Final portion today brought to you by Homer. Homer Skelton Hyundai, home of the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in the Memphis area for 11 years. That would be consistency. That would be product. You know, in order to be a certified pre-owned, it's got to be a Hyundai. And Hyundai is that product where if you get a new one, it's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. And the certified have warranties as well. And then you take in the service. They do it right. They do it right. They've got the assurance. That's the shopper assurance, transparent pricing, and it's right there for you, and it's so fair. Then there's flexible test drive. Take the car for a couple of days. When you buy, streamline. You're in, you're out. You're not there for 3 hours, I promise. And then the best, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You got buyer's remorse? Don't worry. Exchange the car. This is the way car business should be done. Please get on Lamar. Go see what I'm talking about. Head on over to the good folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch.
Tomorrow we will do golf picks at 4 o'clock under a veil of controversy.
I don't. What controversy? What is? Did
Tiger have your lawyer present?
Tiger's going to play, or
you need to bring representation with you tomorrow at 4.
Well, let me just say this.
And if we're lawyering up, I'll bring mine too.
He's going scoreboard.
Let me just say, this is very simple. Very, very simple indeed. I have now won $10,114,640 after my $403,069 victory in New York.
With an asterisk. With an illegal player.
You can
worldwide Wolo.
How much money did Billy Horschel win?
About the difference in what you're up.
About 150.
About 150.
Well, guess there's an asterisk.
Banner coming. Still flagrant, Drew. Flagrant disregard.
Still just laughing at us.
First of all, I'm up over 250. So you guys are
a little
so
bit out of
bitter.
bounds is a lot out of
You
bounds.
guys
Dave.
are so bitter. Can I find this thing? Oh, go please take that pick. It's just 3 spots. Do it. Come on. I mean, it's just like your enticement.
But out of bounds is out of bounds, Dave.
I'm
It's
fine
like the
by you
clearinghouse.
taking Horschel close enough. What's 3 spots? There it is.
What's the
there
clearing?
It is to be
what's
seen.
the clearinghouse, Drew?
Out of bounds is out of bounds. You know it.
There's no out of bounds here. I was given by, I guess, the
top 35 OWGR tomorrow with 70 in the field.
Top 35.
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time.
You are looking live. It's crunch time. In your life, have you seen anything like that?
We'll take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
He's a professional. He's pretty classy for his age.
In the crunch time, that's the frustrating part.
Little Penny could make some appearances this year.
Okay, I'm not huge into stats.
Has it always been this way?
It's crunch time, so I got a different mind state.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working?
Immediately when the buzzer sounds, he lets out this shriek.
He throw those ears forward, and he was in stroke mode.
This is stupid.
It's obviously crunch time.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Dave, I learned today that Yadier Molina will be back with the Cardinals tonight for a team that a whole lot will have to go right to win the Central or even be a wild card. 46 games left. I'm saying 29-17 would go a long way for the Cardinals. What did you learn today?
I learned today that the Memphis athletic revenue from 2 years ago, 17-18, was 4th among the AAC. I was a little surprised at that. But this, remember, is prior to Penny. And their revenue was $55.5 million. It ranked behind UConn, which made $79 million. I think that went way down this last year.
Way down.
UCF 62. They were the only ones that made any money in Cincinnati at 61.8. Again,
Cincinnati should have more growth potential than that.
I would think so. Now, Tulane, Temple, SMU, Navy, Tulsa were not in this deal because they're private schools. I do know that at least Memphis will get $4.5 million more from football ticket sales than they did 17-18. I think it's going to be well over 60 next year. Just a year and a half behind.
I could do without all the stuff around Antonio Brown. Great player, but frozen feet, and he doesn't like his helmet. Chucky Gruden has to defend him. He has to go to bat for him. Will either make the trip to Vegas when the Raiders become the Vegas Raiders? Will Chucky and AB go to the LV?
They will both be there. That is my bold prediction.
What
Actually,
is it you could have
funny.
done with
that? I'm so sick of Antonio Brown.
So sick.
Going back to Pittsburgh last year, this is a me guy. He's a really good player.
In a Wii sport.
But he is a me guy.
In the ultimate team sport, what are you keeping a close eye on tonight?
Wow, the Cubs and the Phillies at 6:05 tonight, that is for sure. Houston and the White Sox are playing right now. Houston leads 3-2. Any kind of news that may be coming out? I'm on the lookout.
In the Bahamas for the Tigers, we'll keep an eye on that. Also, any Tiger news in Chicago. They made most of the news today. I will watch the still hot Mets in Atlanta versus the Braves, Wheeler versus Fried in that one. How would you like to be the White Sox today? And you go out and face the Astros in a doubleheader, and you get Greinke in Game 1 and Garrett Cole in Game 2. That could cool off a lot of bats. Bay Area interleague play between the A's and the Giants. You mentioned the Cubs on the road, Cardinals on the road, and quarterback decisions being made in college football. Next week will kind of be depth chart week and a lot more quarterback decisions made. But Miami made one yesterday. Arizona State's going to play a freshman. They're starting to come out.
By the way, practice today, Connor Adair, he's got an arm. He's getting more snaps, obviously, because McBride's going, and I haven't really learned this, but I'm hearing that McBride, whose father is ill, McBride could very well end up at Texas State and play this year. Not a JC, like I originally thought, and then would transfer to
Texas State
an
in the
American.
Sun Belt, and they come to Jonesboro late October to play ASU.
I think Texas State could be the place that McBride ends up being in. And that'll do it for us. We got plenty of folks we want to thank, including Gabe Kuhn. What a good job he did with us today. Brent Beard. So good to see Jeff Moore in the house. Jeff Moore with his 25th anniversary year. How about that? And then Bo Marchant and, of course, Steve Earhart. It was fun to see everybody in the U of M family out at the Laird Veach press conference. His daughters, by the way, gorgeous, tall. One of them's daughters is on her way to Kansas State. And a young son. It's a great addition to the family, that is for certain. Tomorrow we'll be busy, including TJ Reeves, John Goen, Chris Raby, other surprises. We will see you then. Have a great night, everybody.
John Burgess, we're still in the afterglow of a very successful golf tournament.
Brett, I want to convey my sincere thanks to Daryl Smith and his staff at Jack Salmons and the board and CBS for putting on such a great golf tournament. Not only did we see great golf and saw Memphis and St. Jude painted in such a positive way, we got to show Memphis as the great foodie town that it is, from Andrew Michael to barbecue. And I especially want to express my appreciation for the cooperation shown by all the barbecue places at the pit. Even though we're competitors, we certainly work together to produce great barbecue. Especially I want to thank Walker Taylor with Germantown Commissary, Elizabeth Blondus with Central Barbecue, Ernie Meller with Hog Wild, and Pat Donahue and our staff at the Rendezvous. Dining out in Memphis is one of my great pleasures. Of course, we want everyone to come to the Rendezvous, but don't forget all the other great food establishments where all our friends and family work hard every day putting out great products and quality service. Food is one of those understated assets the world needs to know about Memphis.
The Rendezvous since 1948 in the alley in downtown Memphis.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's Employee of the Month, 2 months in a row. Leave a message at the...